Anfield to a big game, and it's a big game for these German players as well. There's some of them coming in, not played many games, inexperienced, very rarely tried back four in terms of personnel here, so it's a tough test for both sides.
Well, it was controversial at the weekend when the players took a knee in Budapest and there was the booing inside the stadium, but here in Munich, in contrast to Budapest, there is applause and support as both sets of players take the knee. So England will get us underway here. This is the second match day in this UEFA Nations League group, the top division. England get us underway, and immediately the ball's fired down the right-hand side and straight out of play for a throw into the Germans, who hurl it back to Antonio Rudiger, who of course will be moving away from the Premier League and away from Chelsea to Real Madrid this summer. Very tight from Kieran Trippier to concede a free kick with that challenge on Hoffman, and it is a free kick to the Germans 10 yards inside his own half. And Kieran Trippier, playing his first match for England since he joined Newcastle United, just gets a word of warning from the referee.
Yeah, it's good from him though. Get tight, get some tackles in early doors, but also just to show you've got the intention to press from the team all over the pitch, set the stall out early.
Ball played back to Manuel Neuer on the edge of the area, who instantly took charge of that situation. Now, centrally, here is Musiala involved in the game for the first time. The ball's played through to Havertz, shoots from the angle, left side of the penalty area. It was straight at Pickford, who's all in maroon tonight, actually, the England goalkeeper, and he was able to save it comfortably, but in fact the offside flag was up against Kai Havertz.
It was good pressing from England initially, but Manuel Neuer, so good with his feet, so confident, playing out from the edge of the box, just slotted one through ball, and then all of a sudden there was the space for Germany to go and play, and they've got their players up against the England backline.
Well, that's Kieran Trippier, an unforced error. Now, he claimed that he was being fouled by Jonas Hoffmann, but his back pass was well wide of Jordan Pickford, and England have conceded a very cheap corner.
Yeah, just a bit of a wake-up call for England. First time on the ball, really. They pressed high, they pressed hard, so did Germany. They've been caught.
They have, so Joshua Kimmich is going to take this corner from the right-hand side. Scored the equaliser against Italy when Germany and the European champions drew 1-1 in Bologna on Saturday night. Kimmich with the corner to the edge of the 6-yard box. Rudiger played it across goal, and Kyle Walker just got there at the back post. I was almost certain it was going to be turned in by Thomas Muller at the back post, but it bounced up rather awkwardly, and Kyle Walker was able to get in there and put it behind for a corner from the opposite side. And there's an England man who is down there. It's John Stones, who has just stayed down on one knee. He is in a crouching position. The referee has gone across just to check and see how he is. This is a little bit of a worry for England here, with Stones and Maguire back together. But he's thought about it. Remember, he did have that injury at the end of the season, which kept him out of most of the run-in with Manchester City. But he's back on his feet, and he's gone out there to mark Antonio Rudiger. So a German corner from the left-hand side, the near post, which is headed up and away by Harry Kane. It bounces out back for Germany on the left flank, and the cross is blocked and bounces down to Harry Kane, who's still in there, and is then fouled by Kai Havertz, and then fouled again by Kai Havertz, but the referee says that's not a free kick, and Kane gets back onto his feet and clears it out of play via a deflection for an England throw-in. How is that not a free kick?
It wasn't. He played for it, kicked the floor. So Harry Kane, little stop before Kai Havertz went to go in and tackle, and Kai Havertz just stood there. The referee didn't buy it, but yeah, this is a sharp start by Germany, and it's one that from that corner, you just saw it. It looked like it was a mishit corner, but actually it was really well played and really good, clever movement.
Kane plays the ball over the top from the halfway line for Sterling to chase, but Neuer was there, quickly out of his penalty area. He'd actually come to a stop outside the box, so he could head the ball down, and Sterling did not get there. And now John Stones, near the edge of his own penalty area, plays it back to Pickford, who takes a touch, almost bounced away from him, curls it away to the halfway line. It is glanced on by the head of Sterling, who drops to the ground. Mount is there. Kane, first time touch. Declan Rice on the left-hand side has a look. There's no one inside the penalty area for England. Saka arriving now, and so Rudiger was able to come across and block it out for an England throw.
This game has started off at an electric pace. It's whether this is in an end of season Nations League game or World Cup coming up or whatever it might be, but this has got a real atmosphere and a real pace to it.
Throw-in taken by England, and here is Mount on the left-hand side, and Mount pulls it back, gives it back to Trippier, who uses Declan Rice back up the touchline. Rice then infield, and Kyle Walker back to the halfway line. So if you just joined us on 5 Live, 7:45 kickoff, British summertime tonight. We're live in Munich inside the Allianz Arena, and Jordan Pickford has overhit that ball downfield. It sails away high over the head of Trippier and out of play. But Gareth Southgate going with a back four tonight, so it's a 4-2-3-1, which does match up the German formation tonight. 5 changes from the weekend, so Sterling comes in, Saka, Calvin Phillips back in there alongside Rice, John Stones at the back, and Kieran Trippier. And here is Calvin Phillips playing it forward to Harry Kane. Harry Kane works it to Sterling, left side of the area, and Sterling's ball across is blocked by the recovering Rudiger to put it out for a corner to England.
That is the England that we know. That's pressing, that's winning the ball back and driving at the defence. It just needed a first-time ball from Raheem Sterling. Saka coming in at the far post, unmarked. It's good from England.
Yep, and I think one of the many things that Saturday's performance did was underline the importance of Raheem Sterling. A good day for the England squad players who didn't play that night, kind of enhanced their reputations, but Sterling's out there tonight. So it is a corner for England from the left-hand side, but it's poor and it's easily headed away at the near post. And Kieran Trippier, usually such a good dead ball taker, wasn't able to beat the first man and actually raised his arm as a gesture of apology that he wasn't able to do better. Here's Kane just outside the area, rides one challenge and shoots at Neuer, who was able to pat it down in front of his face. That was hit with some force. It was a rather jerky reaction from Neuer, but he was able to pat it down and pick it up.
Yeah, absolutely, and just from where it bounced, he wasn't sure about that. It bounced down directly on between his feet, and the spin of the ball brought it back up into his hands. He wasn't in control of that, but this game is alive. This is quick, the surface seems quick, the players are at it, it's got a real tempo.
Yep. Germany 0, England 0 in the early stages. Strong start from Germany, but England have had a good little spell there, and Neuer has to make the first legitimate save of the match. Here's Declan Rice again. Thought he had one of his quieter games, Declan Rice, for England on Saturday, but he wasn't the only one. Mason Mount was another one. That was one of his poorer performances for England. And after the season that he's had, Chelsea's Player of the Year again for a second time. I think he's one of the players, when Gareth Southgate talks about goals coming from other areas, Mason Mount is one of those players, and he's not scored, Mount, in his last 13 England appearances.
Yeah, that is one, and he was quiet at the weekend, playing on that left-hand side, and you look at combinations and link-ups, especially for creative players, he didn't have that at all. He seemed to be ploughing a low furrow at times and really got a bit lost in the game.
England playing the ball back to Pickford. John Stones it was. Seems to be okay after that early concern. Ball played over the top by Pickford, but Schlotterbeck, Nico Schlotterbeck, one of the inexperienced players, here he is again with his blonde highlights in his hair, but he does well, stands up to the challenge from Saka, and then Calvin Phillips goes down after he tried to put the challenge in, and Trippier again tangling with Hoffmann, who goes down, Jonas Hoffmann, the number 18, the right winger from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Ball out of play, it is given only as a throw-in to England, but I think Calvin Phillips came off worst with that challenge.
Just a bit of a dead leg, went in with the wrong foot, got caught and tumbling down in the penalty area. It really was a painful blow. Conor Gallagher's getting to warmed up straight away.
Yeah, Phillips just rather gingerly gets to his feet. In the centre circle, he came across, you're absolutely right, Rob. He just he caught the full force of his knee, of Schlotterbeck's knee, on the right, and he's actually sat down again, and that is a proper dead leg.
Yeah, it's horrible, and we've all had them, and it just feels like there's nothing you can do. You can't put your weight on your leg, you can't do anything, you can't run it off, and the pain that's going through that leg right now, he's a tough lad, Calvin. That'll hurt.
Yeah, and so Gareth Southgate is down there. He's just having a little chat with Kieran Trippier, and there have been these early tangles with Hoffmann, so I think that might be part of the conversation. And England sending out Jude Bellingham to warm up as well, so he would be a candidate as well. Ward-Prowse likewise
You're looking at England and how they're pressing, and both teams are desperate to play in the other team's half, and it's just that press that England are having to hold such a high line, and Kieran Trippier on his, you wouldn't say is his natural side at left back as opposed to right back, maybe slightly conscious of it, wanting to get tight, not having to want to run backwards towards his own goal. Calvin Phillips is up now, but gingerly.
Yeah. Well, Gareth Southgate, who's got a suit on tonight, dark suit, talking to Steve Holland about whether they're going to have to make an alteration, and he is limping very heavily, Calvin Phillips, as he comes off the field after that dead leg, the collision with Nico Schlotterbeck, who's played for Freiburg this season, but is joining Borussia Dortmund this summer, the central defender. You might also not be too familiar with the left back, David Raum from Hoffenheim. It's just his 7th cap. But England down to 10 men temporarily, and Calvin Phillips continues to receive treatment here. They're actually putting strapping on his right thigh. So England playing on with 10 men. It's 0-0. BBC Radio 5 Live, this Nations League group match. Also tonight, the other two sides are meeting in Italy, in Cesena, Italy against Hungary. As Germany come forward, England still with 10 men on the field. Phillips has been bandaged up and is going to come back on, but he hasn't got the nod yet. John Stones comes across on the edge of the area. Havertz though is onto this. It bounced away off Kyle Walker. So Germany playing from left to right in the first half. Here is Schlotterbeck on the left-hand side, knocks it down the line. Raum angles it back now to the edge of the area. Musiala's going to try a shot, but that was blocked on the edge of the box by Rice. And it bounces away for England, and Mason Mount takes it on there out towards the right-hand side. He was challenged by Schlotterbeck, and it bounced back. Good challenge as well. Gundogan now through the middle. Little touch from Muller, but that took it to the feet of Walker, who was able to quickly pass it back to Jordan Pickford to clear downfield. 0-0, Rob Green. Yeah,
good pressing from Germany. Mason Mount getting the ball and dribbling them out the danger area, but looking up, and there's only Harry Kane in front of him, and he was over on the other side of the pitch, and so there's no real out ball. He's reticent to just clear it and boot it away, but getting caught on the ball, it's so tight and so quick in transition.
Germany coming forward again. Germany unbeaten so far under Hansi Flick, therefore unbeaten since that day in June last year when England knocked Joachim Löw's Germany, as they were at the time, out of the European Championship. Germany with Schlotterbeck again, just knocks it forward. Musiala can't get there, and it's cleared away by John Stones, who gets there first. And Calvin Phillips, who has come back onto the field, has had to sit down again, and Germany take the throw quickly, and Muller plays it forward, but the referee actually had already stopped play. He's not even looking, because he's already stopped play, and he's signalling for the medical people to come on again for Calvin Phillips. And the Germans aren't happy about this, because Phillips came back on and then instantly has not been able to continue. They're saying, why didn't you let us take the throw in? Why was that not legitimate? 3-4 Germans are surrounding the referee, but he is saying, look, I've stopped play.
Yeah, he'd stopped, he'd turned his back, the England team had stopped. There's no way. Funnily enough, Tony Rudiger, my old teammate, first one there to complain.
Would you say that's not like him, Rob?
He's always got something to say.
Well, Phillips is down, and we're going to see Jude Bellingham coming on to replace him. So it is Jude Bellingham who's been called forward. I'm sure he'd have been disappointed, actually, the Borussia Dortmund man, Bellingham, back in Germany, not starting this match here in the Bayern Munich stadium. But he's into the action with less than 15 minutes on the clock, and Calvin Phillips is having to be helped from the field. Great disappointment for him after the season that he's had, all of these injuries. This stop-start season, struggled to recapture his form, but then was actually able to start Leeds United's last 6 matches of the season, and then second time out, first time starting for England, he's picked up an injury in the first 10 minutes or so. Yeah,
it was a heavy blow and a real disappointment for him. I think if that was a blow after an hour or 70 minutes, he'd have just sat down and said, that's me done. I've had my run around, I've had my workout, I've had a good game. There, it's just a huge disappointment for me. He just cannot carry on. So it's an opportunity for someone else in a big game for him.
Yeah, Jude Bellingham, remember, still only 18 years old, is on to win his 14th cap here. Germany 0, England 0. England's under-21s are also in action tonight, back in the UK. Lee Blakeman is watching their Euro under-21 qualifier against Albania.
Yep, England 0, Albania 0. England dominating possession, should be ahead. Jed Spence's looked brilliant down the right, just fizzed across the face of goal. All it needed was a touch, couldn't get one. Anthony Gordon's had a shot well saved as well. We've had 15 minutes, John, 0-0.
Yeah, and we've got a choice of sport for you on 5 Live and Sports Extra tonight. The T20 Blast commentary is right now over on Sports Extra on your digital radio or via BBC Sounds. Rugby Union after 10 o'clock tonight, looking ahead to the big playoff games at the weekend. And then Wales-Netherlands tomorrow night commentary. England on the back foot defending, but Kyle Walker speedily across to get there ahead of David Raum. Of course he was, speedily across, and heads it back to Pickford.
Yeah, it's an interesting combination of the far side to us is Musiala and Gundogan just linking up together, one in front of the other. And one's looking at where the other one is, where the space is, which player they're dragging in. It's such clever play, and you've got about 4 or 5 players, all of them constantly turning their heads, looking at each other. Just a little game of chess going on within the game itself.
Germany with the ball at the back with Klostermann, the left-sided central defender. Here's Ilkay Gundogan. Last time I saw him live, he was scoring those 2 goals when Manchester City came back against Aston Villa and clinched the title. And here he is now, bearded, crossing the halfway line, giving the ball to the left-hand side. Musiala couldn't get the ball under control, and England were able to step in. Declan Rice has played it back to Pickford. That was risky, it was risky. And Pickford, though, was quickly there and was able to clear it. Hoffman was almost in. Hoffman now crossing to the near post, and Pickford was sliding in was Musiala, and he very nearly got the touch on that, but Pickford it is who was able to get his hands to it and gather it.
Yeah, John Pickford did well there to try and play it to Kieran Trippier, because it was the only ball that was on. He couldn't clear it because he was being pressed so tight. Managed just to get the ball out to him. Kieran Trippier can't keep it in. Starts ranting and raving at Jordan Pickford, and they've taken the throw in. The game's gone. It's so quick, you just cannot switch off for a second.
Germany 0, England 0. Yeah, Jamal Musiala, I'm sure there'll have been nerves for him tonight. The 19-year-old, the former Southampton and Chelsea academy boy, grew up in England, but born in Germany. Great season for Bayern Munich. 40 appearances, 20 starts, scored 8 goals, 8 assists. He's a star of the future. Well, he's a star of the present. Ball played over the top for England, but offside flag is up against Trippier on the left-hand side. And it is a free kick to the Germans halfway inside their own half. So an early setback for England, losing Calvin Phillips and bringing on Jude Bellingham. I'm sure Gareth Southgate was keen to see Phillips and Rice together again, because this was the first time that the two of them, Rice and Phillips, had started together for England since September in the match in Poland. But it didn't last 15 minutes before Jude Bellingham has had to come on. Gundogan with the ball at the back. He wasn't able to play in the game at Wembley last season. Took a knock in the final group match. Germany can't clear it. England are pressing well, but they've played their way out of the England press. Gundogan came across, and then it needed Declan Rice to put in one of his challenges, a good one as well, sliding in on Klostermann, the right back, to put it out for a throw.
That was brilliant from Declan Rice. He's pressing on the edge of the box, and it was the slide tackle at the edge of one box, and then track back thinking that there's a breakaway, 70, 80 yards back, another slide tackle.
Kane gets the ball down, plays it over the top for Saka to chase, but Neuer was quickly out to the edge of the box. Kane put too much on it, and Neuer was very sharp there to underarm it out, almost balletically, wasn't it, on one foot, underarming it to Raum on the left-hand side, but England were sharp and were able to win the ball back, and here they are with it centre field. It's played back to Harry Maguire on the edge of the box, who turns it to Pickford behind him.
How long can they keep this up for? This pace is unbelievable. I know I keep talking about it, but everyone is sprinting all over the pitch, because they know how important, when that loses that ball, that's when you got the danger time, that's when the teams can break you down, and it's just hell for leather in the centre of the pitch.
Germany 0, England 0. It's actually the 4th time that Germany have played England since Gareth Southgate has been the manager. Won 1, drawn 1, lost 1. But it was quite a day, wasn't it, last year at Wembley when England won that match. I remember it being very nervy and edgy before the 2 late goals came for England. Here's Kane on the left-hand side. Remember that chance that Muller had at 0-0 when he was through, and it seemed for all the world that Muller was going to open the scoring. Ball into the penalty area for England from the throw. Kane tried to flick it across the box, headed away. Germany should clear. It bounces down to Klostermann, who is going to eventually, on the dead ball line, right-footed, sends it downfield, but straight to Rice, who takes it on, and England win a throw-in down the left wing, halfway inside German territory. It's not red hot by any means here inside the ground tonight, but still shirt sleeves for many of the supporters. I do see as well, by the way, many England fans are in the German section all around the stadium. You can see them in there, but everything seems to be very amicable and friendly, so let's hope it stays that way. Sterling receives the ball from the throw on the left-hand side, back to Kane, and then Maguire sends it forward, but he was under pressure, and the ball from Maguire just bounces harmlessly through for a German goal kick. Klostermann, Schlotterbeck walking the ball out. Disappointing end of the season with Freiburg, who were in the Champions League positions but ended up in 6th, and then they lost on penalties to RB Leipzig in the cup final. But Schlotterbeck is leaving all that behind, as I say, to go to Borussia Dortmund. Here is Rudiger, who dwelt on the ball, so Mount, his Chelsea teammate for these recent seasons, closed him down and blocked it out for a throw, and again Rudiger has plenty to say about that, for the lack of movement that was there ahead of him. Maguire wins a header on the halfway line, then Gundogan, stabbed back by Kimmich, and Rudiger plays it across to the left side of Manuel Neuer, who takes it with his right foot and then clears left-footed the German goalkeeper with his 111th cap tonight. Free kick to Germany in the centre circle. Declan Rice putting in the challenge that referee Cerro Grande says was a free kick, which is taken short. Schlotterbeck again over towards the left. The England supporters in good voice, we can hear them up to our left. It goes all the way back to Manuel Neuer. As a former top goalkeeper, Rob, you must look forward every time you see Manuel Neuer play in the flesh.
Something that brought something completely different to the game.
As England win the ball back, Bellingham tried to play it through to Kane, but Kane was on his heels, and that man Neuer's got it again.
Yeah, he's just so athletic at the back, so confident, and so far out of his goal as well at times. He felt like I had a bungee cord attached with me when I was playing compared to him, but yeah, he just brought a whole new dynamic to the game and is carrying on to do it for a long time in a wonderful team.
Yeah, 36 years old now he is, Manuel Neuer, captain of Bayern Munich, captain of Germany. First German goalkeeper to 100 caps, and Germany now break forward, and he has a big chance to open the scoring. Jonas Hoffmann in an offside position, and the goal is ruled out. And I think he knew, because as soon as he put it in the net, Hoffmann, he looked over his shoulder at the assistant who had the flag up. And even though one or two Germans have gone to the referee, obviously VAR will have a look at this to see if he was. But I think the Germans are expecting that this will be ratified by VAR, but let's see. Let's just see.
Well, it's whether Kai Havertz touches the ball, and it's the long ball forwards. And if Hoffman's in an offside position...
Well, he tangled Havertz with, I think, Harry Maguire on the halfway line. And
I think one way or another, the goal won't stand.
Yeah, because of Havertz's challenge on...
He interferes with the play,
Maguire.
with the ball. Yeah. He interferes with Harry Maguire, therefore interfering with play. I don't think you can say that I haven't affected Harry Maguire in any way, shape or form. He is a presence within the game, and I'm not sure if Hoffmann was ever onside at any point anyway.
Yeah. The VAR are continuing to look at it. There's a groan among the crowd because it's showed on the big screens that VAR are checking the goal. Gareth Southgate is looking to the fourth official and asking why it is that this is taking so long. So I think it's one of those where there are two aspects to this, as Rob Green has already described. Whether Havertz interferes with Harry Maguire, whether Havertz fouls Maguire, and then indeed, or whether it was Maguire fouling Havertz, but also, you know, Hoffmann does seem to be in an offside position. Players not resumed. England are ready to go. They've got the ball down to take the free kick. We're still waiting for the decision, and the decision is that the goal is ruled out by VAR, and they back up the decision of the officials on the field.
Gareth Southgate was looking completely perplexed then. It's just to say, well, how on earth can it stand and why does this need to be checked? And it was any number of reasons why it could have been disallowed, and eventually they got there.
Yeah, well, there were two strong counts why it was going to be disallowed. But I guess you've got to check all options with something like that. It was confirmed disallowed for offside. So not for the foul by Havertz on Maguire.
I think the ball just flicked Maguire as well, which might have then
been a factor. Yeah.
Not going to go down there again.
No. Germany 0, England 0. Goals ruled out. It's still goalless. 5 live, and England coming forward with Saka on the right-hand side, not really being able to get into the game yet. The Arsenal man out there, but he's run a throw in for England, 10 yards back from the corner flag, away over in that on that far side of the field. Someone wanders past us with a big tray full of Bavarian beers on it. We were told last week that beer would not be on sale inside the ground as part of the security operation, but I've seen lots of it, unless it's alcohol-free. Here is Klosterman on the right-hand side. Sterling takes him on, and Klosterman's forced to stab it behind for an England corner.
You know, a lot down this England left. Mason Mount naturally drifts over towards this side, and when you've got Sterling in, and he's been playing so well for England, it does tend to get drawn down it.
We've seen the Trippier-Maguire combination many times, haven't we? Trippier, his first corner from this left-hand side was disappointing. Saka is there as well, but Saka runs away. Trippier with the delivery. Neuer comes for it, challenged by Maguire, and the ball bounces down. Maguire put the challenge in on Neuer. I think it might have been disallowed, you know, for Maguire's challenge on the goalkeeper. In any case, Kane was there at the back post and fired it goalwards, but wide and high of the far post. Was that given as a foul, or was it just a goal kick?
Neuer's making sure it was, I think, and he gets hit by Maguire. It's a slow, long ball to the far post, and from there it just catches in on the arm, and it's good from England. Good set piece, well met by Maguire.
Yep, that's more like it. Germany 0, England 0. Still 0-0 between Italy and Hungary, and indeed in the under-21 game. Germany just struggling here at the back. Schlotterbeck's caught out. Kane plays it right across the 6-yard box, but it flashed away beyond either Sterling or Mount, who were in there. Raheem Sterling now angles the ball back. Raheem Sterling is on 19 international goals. This is his 75th appearance for England. Raheem Sterling, 3/4 of the way to the century. Germany, though, playing it out from the back. Gundogan, this is slick, this is quick from the Germans. Musiala takes a couple of touches, that's just slowed it a little. So round, then back to Musiala through the middle. Musiala rides a challenge, now right-footed shot, but straight into Maguire in on the edge of the penalty area, just a yard or two away. But they've won it back, and now the ball is played forward by Muller, and a twisting header from Havertz, but he wasn't able to direct it with any power. And it was easily taken by Jordan Pickford in the England 6-yard box.
He's an exciting player, isn't he, Musiala? When he gets turned, he gets on that little half turn, and he knows he can go, and he starts driving at people, takes lots of touches. Really exciting to watch, driving in on his onto his right foot.
Yeah, one of 4 Bayern Munich players in this starting lineup. Germany 0, England 0. That's a poor ball from Pickford. Quite unlike him, that was nowhere near. I mean, there were 2 England players out there, and it bisected them perfectly and out of play for a throw.
I think he just saw Gundogan had read it, the ball into Mount's feet, and just dragged it, hooked it that little bit.
Walker turns, keeps possession, gives it to Kane. Nice touch to take it forward. Kane's got options either side of him, uses Saka to his right. Saka in the box, tried to give it back to Kane, it was slightly behind him, so he leaves it, and the shot from Bellingham is deflected by a German player on the edge of the box, took it wickedly away out towards the left-hand side and actually out for a throw.
Well, once both teams get through that initial press, the whole pitch opens up, and they're so quick in the attacks. It's can you pick that next pass? Can you pick that next forward ball to give you that option to score?
But that was promising. As England broke there, Kane had options, 1 option to his left and 2 to his right. And they weren't able to capitalise. Still goalless, with almost half an hour played. Not too much, actually, in terms of direct opportunities on goal. Harry Kane had that shot early on. It was straight at the goalkeeper. Germans have had the ball in the net. That was ruled out. for offside. Hoffman tucked it away well, actually. And the other significant happening, if you weren't listening earlier, Calvin Phillips of Leeds United having to limp off with a dead leg. So Jude Bellingham came on to replace him. Germany 0, England 0. Rob Green alongside me here in this excellent commentary position at the back of the lower tier, but out in the elements. And we're watching now Germany break forward over the halfway line. And the left back, Raum, swings the ball right across the field, but Kieran Trippier got to it first, and Trippier glanced it away. Hoffman was behind him, and I think as Trippier was moving backwards, he inadvertently caught Hoffman with his foot, and Trippier's fallen awkwardly on his shoulder, so they're both down.
Yeah, he's out control, Trippier. He's on the stretch, running backwards there, flick it away, and Hoffman's turned to go and get the throw in, and he's landed shoulder onto the back of the ankle. Oh, and it's painful for the pair of them. I think Kieran Trippier's shoulder might have... You hate to see those. You hate to see it, because immediately you think dislocated shoulder.
Yeah, and so he's injured his shoulder by colliding with the back of Hoffman's. So that, you know, that could be an Achilles-style problem for Hoffman. And for Trippier, I mean, this could be the end of the game.
Both are in real trouble, real pain.
Yeah. Kieran Trippier, who he's actually only played in 7 matches for Newcastle so far, but had this sort of transformative effect by him coming to the club. So he's getting to his feet, and they're still feeling his left shoulder, and he's walking off the field, and Hoffman is still down. He's being helped up as well. So while they receive treatment, let's get an update on the England under-21 match against Albania again from Lee Blakeman.
0-0, England on top, but they've just had a real scare. Joe Bursick in the England goal, guilty of a really poor clearance, presented the ball to Dobra 25 yards out. He hit it, but Bursick able to get back into position to make the save. England look comfortable on the ball, but no goals at the moment here at Chesterfield. England 0, Albania 0.
But there has been a goal in this group, because Italy are winning 1-0 against Hungary. Nicola Barella has scored the opening goal of that match in Cesena tonight, which also kicked off 7:45 UK time. So Italy in front against Hungary, who I noticed have picked an unchanged team tonight, the Hungarians, after their win against England at the weekend.
No surprises there, I don't think. Yep.
No problems with the heat for the Hungarians. Yes, now off you go again. Right, Trippier is okay. And Hoffman also has been past fit to continue, but now Sterling has got a problem on the halfway line, and he's going to sit down. And this could be hamstring. Yep. He's clutching his right hamstring, and he's gone down and he's lying on his back, and we've got another stoppage.
Yeah, Kieran Trippier's just wandered off the pitch as well, holding his shoulder. We've got a few problems here.
Well, it was an end-of-season feel in Budapest on Saturday night for very different reasons. Now, in this match, they're going down like 9 pins. They've already lost Calvin Phillips. There is a problem with Trippier. I think he's going to be okay. There's not a great deal of concern there. But for Raheem Sterling, who did miss training last week when he was unwell, he's got up now. And he's walking across. Is that a smile or is that a grimace on his face?
That was a grimace. He's not impressed, is he? But I think, you know, we're just over half an hour in, and the main number one thing for Gareth Southgate is a box ticked. Is there a reaction? Is there back to the intensity? Is the identity of this England team back? And within half an hour, you can easily say, we haven't scored, it's still 0-0, but it's there.
So it is Germany 0, England 0. Sterling is not moving easily. He does not look right. And Steve Holland just down here in front of us is telling Jared Bowen and Jack Grealish are both down there that one of them, I think, is going to come on. Yeah, Sterling can't continue. He's almost on one leg out there. Ball downfield for Germany, but Harry Maguire is going to get there and play it across the penalty area. And Pickford, left-footed, downfield to Saka, who's able to chest it down, give it back to Kyle Walker. Now Jude Bellingham, near the halfway line, right at the centre circle, plays the ball back into the England back line. Trippier, who seems all right to carry on. Ball still in play, and England passing it around at the back. Pickford goes long once again up towards Harry Kane, who challenges Schlotterbeck, and the ball bounces down for England. Here's Walker, and then Jude Bellingham just turns it back into the England central defence again. Sterling's all on his own on the left wing at the moment. I'm not sure, I mean, will he be able to run that off?
No, he's effectively a mannequin at the minute. He's just out there, and I think that England are playing for time to see if he's all right. But what you don't want to do is bring someone on without warming up properly and have another injury.
Yeah, and will it be Grealish or will it be Jared Bowen? It feels to me, you know, we were talking at the weekend about Jared Bowen and his type of game and how useful he is on the counter-attack.
Yeah.
You know, it could be Grealish on the left-hand side, or he could play Bowen on the right and move Saka over to the left-hand side. But it is Germany coming forward. Sterling still on the pitch. Half-time approaching. 10 minutes to go. Ball into the penalty area. Hoffman on the left-hand side, but as he tried to centre it, he rather sliced it straight behind, and it is a goal kick. And I mentioned half-time. We're actually going to hear from Rob Page, the Wales manager, because tomorrow night, if you're listening to 5 Live, you'll hear commentary on the Wales game against Netherlands. Live from Cardiff, Conor McNamara, James Collins and Sam Ricketts will have the commentary on that, and we'll keep you across Scotland, Armenia as well. And then on Thursday night we've got live athletics from the Diamond League in Rome on 5 Live Sport. But Rob Page will be on at half-time from the Wales camp. Wales, who will be in the England, Iran, USA group at the World Cup. England with the ball at the back. Maguire, right-footed, out towards the far side. And that has been taken down. And as half-time approaches here, not sure what this is about particularly, but lots of German flags are now being waved all around the ground, and people are on their feet in the 36th minute. Looks as though it is choreographed, and Germany coming forward, but Muller was rather on his heels there, and England were able to clear through stones. Comes back to Gundogan, 30 yards out. Gundogan to Musiala. Musiala now tries to find the pass to Raum on the left-hand side. Raum gets there, clips it to the back post, and it's headed wide by the arriving Kai Havertz, off Trippier, who deflected it wide, and it's a German corner.
Yeah, did well Trippier. Knew he was there, knew he was waiting for the challenge in behind. Can I get enough? He's a few inches smaller than Kai Havertz and just about did enough to block it. But England have been treading water since Sterling's got injured. They've been waiting for something to happen. Well, that threat down the left-hand side has gone, and Germany allowed to press on.
Kind of looks as though they're almost like they're waiting to half-time before they make the change. Germany take the corner. Schlotterbeck heads it down, but England are able to clear on the edge of the 6-yard box. It was Walker in the end who was able to shovel it away downfield. It's not obvious that England are about to make this change. Sterling is running around up there as much as he can. But Germany come again, half-time approaching. And once again, threat down the left-hand side, Raum into the box. He chips it across. It was slightly behind Muller, who was able to deflect it across the penalty area. The ball looped up, and Pickford came and punched it out, left-handed, out for a throw. And the offside flag is now raised, and it's a free kick to England inside their own box.
Yeah, Kai Havertz was just offside and in the way of Jordan Pickford. I think that's why it was given, but it was good play because the gap between the back four and Jordan Pickford was so big. Kyle Walker was sprinting back because he read that block. He thought he was going to definitely go into that space, and it wasn't. Raum checked back, but then was on his weaker foot and didn't put the best ball in. But it's dangerous from Germany, and England, like you say, just feel like they sort of stood waiting, looking around at each other to say, well, what are we doing? What's the game plan?
Germany 0, England 0. And I think the injuries and the various interruptions, that big VAR break that we had, have rather broken it up as a match in the latter part of the first half. As Harry Maguire passes the ball out from the back, Trippier plays it to the halfway line. Harry Kane got his flick all wrong, and then it bounces back to Kane. Gundogan puts in the challenge on the England captain. It's a strong one, came out with the ball. This is Muller now. Muller gets in, he wins it back. Musiala is taking it on now towards the edge of the England penalty area, but turns, and the teenager gives it back to Jonas Hoffmann, who goes back into the centre circle to Schlotterbeck, and Germany start again. were reliably informed that that little moment there where all the flags were raised was just a sort of rallying cry, stand up for Germany. Here's Schlotterbeck halfway inside the England half. Gundogan, pass at close range to Musiala, who rides 2 challenges into the box. Now he goes, and it runs away from him, and Rice was able to just take a couple of steps across and pass it calmly out to the far side. But England have conceded a throw, and Germany have it again, and they're threatening the Germans to finish strongly at the end of this first half. Raheem Sterling still out there.
They're under pressure here, England. Just can't get it out of their own half, and the intensity's back from Germany. And Musiala looks electric at times, bringing the crowd to the feet. Just the first 2-3 touches, so quick under his feet, and then he's away and out of tight areas.
Germany 0, England 0. And Rudiger in the centre circle. Rudiger passes it over the top through the middle, but right onto the broad chest of Harry Maguire. Trippier back towards Pickford, who was able to sweep it away downfield, but he was quickly closed down by Hoffman, and as a result couldn't find Saka, and the Germans have got to throw halfway inside their own half. So it's presented 1 or 2 difficulties for England this first 45 minutes, and the Germans now, they've played very effectively out from the back, and Muller is put under pressure and in fact fouled by Mason Mount, and it's a free kick to the Germans halfway inside their own half. Thomas Muller tonight winning his 114th cap, which means that he's got 1 more than another great Bayern Munich player, Philipp Lahm, and that means that Muller is now in 5th place on his own on the list of all-time appearances for Germany stroke West Germany. Here's Trippier heading the ball towards the edge of the box. Rudiger's able to take it down and just curl the pass forward to Hoffman, who's given it away to Rice, and then Sterling in between 2 German players goes down, no free kick. Here's Musiala. He's really impressed when he's been on. He's a real bustler, isn't he, when he's in possession. Gives it to Gundogan. Gundogan's ball over the top. This is for the run of Raum. Raum across to Havertz. Havertz with his back to go. Turns, faces the play. Muller's in there as well, but between them, it bounces away from them, and then Havertz is adjudged to have fouled Kyle Walker, which has enraged the German fans in the stands behind the goal down there to our right.
Yeah, John Stones just stood him up, just waited, going saying, I know I've got my angle right, I know I'm going to block the shot off here, and Kai Havertz knew it as well. Just couldn't really get an angle or a space or a little bit of an opening to get that shot away. It's good defending.
Still 0-0. 3 minutes to go to half-time. And Gareth Southgate just having a look at his book of notes down there. We'll have all of the interviews on the Football Daily in the morning. I'm sure we'll be speaking to Gareth Southgate and at least a couple of the England players after this match, and you'll hear all of them on via BBC Sounds in the morning. Here's Saka playing it through for Kane, but that is shepherded behind by Rudiger. Kane was all over the back of him. That's a Tottenham-Chelsea rivalry, isn't it, of recent seasons? And Rudiger was not going to let Kane get any sort of advantage there.
He'll have enjoyed that.
I bet he did. What sort of character was he generally, Rob? You're saying you were at Chelsea when he was there, Rudiger?
He is one that is...
Did he always have his eyes set on something like Real Madrid, would you have said?
It didn't surprise me when he left, and he's someone who lives life with no grey area. And so once, I'm sure, the opportunity was to move on and to go to a club like Real Madrid, that was it.
It's one of those phrases, isn't it? It's a little bit like, doesn't suffer fools.
That as well, that also fits into the Tony Rudiger category.
Germany 0, England 0, that's Rob Green with us, former England World Cup goalkeeper. We're watching Kimmich come forward with it, another of the Bayern Munich contingent. And now Rudiger to his right to Gundogan. Gundogan said yesterday, it was classic eve of match stuff, he said England could put out 3 teams that could perform well at international level. He's a manager in the making. Here is Muller. Muller on the left-hand side gets it back. Musiala is central. Muller's trying to get there first. Rice puts in the challenge. Referee says free kick for that Declan Rice challenge on Thomas Muller. I bet Declan Rice has been looking forward to the challenge of playing against the great Thomas Muller in there.
He's unfortunate there. He's getting cut off by 2 of them, and he managed to foul both of them, apparently.
So it's Gundogan who's going to take this free kick. We're in the 45th minute, and it's a good opportunity for a set piece here. 7 or 8 yards ahead of the centre circle. I think there's somebody at the door as well. This free kick, Gundogan will not take it. So it's Kimmich, perhaps, who's going to take it. Alternatively, Raum. It could be Raum with the left foot, but no, it's Kimmich. Kimmich high into the England box. Schlotterbeck heads it across goal, and Harry Kane was there in the 6-yard box to clear. And Musiala with a shot, but it is straight at Jordan Pickford. It bounced up, maybe a little high for Musiala actually, but he managed to get the volley in, but it was more or less straight at Pickford.
Yeah, it was fortunate for England that it was, because Harry Kane, because of the atmosphere, because of the environment, didn't really have the time or the knowledge or the shout to let it go, let it run out. It was a poor clearance that presented the opportunity.
Well, unsurprisingly, we've got a lengthy period of added time at the end of the first half, 8 minutes, because of all of the injuries. And there's a blatant foul by Kyle Walker in the centre circle that is not given, and England take it on, and it's Mason Mount to the edge of the area, and he gives it to Saka, and Saka's shot is saved by Neuer at the near post, and Germany are incensed that they didn't win a free kick in the centre circle for that Kyle Walker challenge. It's a corner.
Well, it's a good break from England, but it was from a foul. And it came to Mason Mount, you're thinking 20 yards out, 22 yards out, shoot, but decided not to, played it to Saka, and then he was out on his right foot. Just on that angle, it wasn't there for him to get the shot away.
Italy winning 2-0 against Hungary now. Lorenzo Pellegrini scored the second goal for Roberto Mancini's side, so Italy in good shape. Still England 0, Albania 0 in the under-21 international back home. And England with a corner in added time at the end of the first half. And the delivery is headed across the penalty area, nowhere near the goal. There was a lot of congestion in there. Maguire got his head to it, but it's actually out for a throw-in the end. I said it was 0-0 between England and Albania in the under-21 qualifier, but it's not anymore, Lee Blakeman.
Breakthrough at last. England 1, Albania 0. Terrible play at the back by Albania, caught playing out, and that presented Falarin Balogun with a tap-in from 6 yards out to give England the lead on half-time, 1-0.
Another team caught out, playing out from the back, and England winning a free kick 10 yards inside the German half. We're in 8 minutes of added time at the end of this first period, and Sterling has been able to battle on.
He's done well, because it looked like there was absolutely he was moving like me getting off the plane this afternoon.
Free kick for England then. This is 10 yards inside the German half on the left-hand side. Trippier runs away, Saka says, I'm going to take this one. Germany holding an extremely high line, and Saka curls it high, very high, beyond that back line. Stones is chasing it down there, but it is Germany who clear towards the halfway line, and England take up possession again. Getting dark now here on this June evening in Bavaria. Walker, high ball over the top, down into the full-back position. Raum is chasing it, and Raum does get there first. They clatter into the corner flag, who's been put under pressure, actually by John Stones, who is still up there. And the ball is being played out by him for a throw into England. 10 or 12 yards back from the corner flag on the right-hand side. Mason Mount has a ball there, but another ball has appeared. And that's been discarded by Walker, who takes a throw with the original ball. Saka now couldn't find a teammate in blue, and Germany will break away downfield, but well done, Kyle Walker, winning it back for England. Rice in the centre circle, just looks up, very aware of the play. Declan Rice puffs his chest out. England still with it on the left-hand side. Here is Raheem Sterling, turns and attacks, and then takes it to the edge of the box where he's challenged by Rudiger, but the ball bounces for Saka, and Saka's on his left foot, and he curls it goalwards, and that was not far away. Neuer was diving full length to his right. I think in the end he knew he could let it go, but he was concerned.
Yeah, not initially. He was full stretch, and then once he got into the dive, was confident in his angles, but Saka fancied that there. You could just see him, a real intent in his body language as he looked up, and he's hit it. He's got the curve, but it's again just drifted away. But when England get their press right and they track back so well, the chances come.
The anthem being sung by the England supporters, the thousands of them inside the arena. Germany, one more attack in added time. Havertz into the box on the right, but pulls it straight across, and that's an easy take for Pickford at the near post, just to use both hands to pat it down and collect it.
It's been a really entertaining, lively, goalless first half, hasn't it? And one that you'd say is modern football at its best.
Germany 0, England 0. When we were entering the stadium tonight, we were given little cards and told we could have a little guess about what the score, a prediction, what the score might be. We could win a German car. Trippier sends it forward, it's headed away on the edge of the box, it bounces down for Harry Kane, until they found out we were English, and then we were told, you know, actually you can't enter. So it's not going to happen, Rob.
I'm happy with my current cars, thank you.
Yes.
That's actually German, so...
Yeah, well, there we are. Ball back into the England half. Maguire plays it across to Stones. England actually had to cope with the Rolling Stones this week, the other night, who were playing at the old Olympic Stadium. Never mind John Stones. And Stones sends this ball downfield for Saka, who claims he was fouled, but the ball's bounced through, and the referee says that's only a goal kick. Gareth Southgate told me yesterday, if you opened the windows in the team hotel, you could actually hear the Rolling Stones quite clearly in concert. He was too busy preparing for the game.
Did he shut the window?
Well, he was too busy getting ready for the game. He was warned that this might be the last time that he'd have the opportunity to do that, but the match took priority. Here is Rudiger with the ball halfway inside his own half. Uses Klosterman to his right, but Klosterman goes all the way back to Neuer on the edge of the box. Still 2 minutes of added time to play yet at the end of this first half. There's lengthy first half, and there's a flick down the line, and Raum tries to get there first, but couldn't do so. The ball is out of play. He's a speedy individual, isn't he? The 24-year-old from Hoffenheim, just had his first season in the Bundesliga, and Hansi Flick obviously likes the look of him.
Yeah, he plays as a left wing back, and he plays like it, even though he's left back tonight. He really is offensive and loves to get forward, and he's been lively out there.
Yep. Germany 0, England 0. As I say, the Wales manager, Rob Page, will be on 5 Live Sport at half-time, so stay tuned for that. The cricket continues on Sports Extra, but this first half continues on 5 Live. Here's Gundogan for Germany. Klosterman goes back into his own half. Harry Kane, little deflection off him, but Germany have got it again. Here's Kimmich. Kimmich just moves it out to his right-hand side. Still goes, carry it forward. Sterling's in front of him, Sterling and Kane, so Kimmich goes and turns back onto his left foot. We are now finally in the 8th minute, and now Raum on the left-hand side. Raum back to Gundogan, who has a look over both shoulders, and then plays the ball low to the edge of the box. Hoffman is here, but Trippier forces him away towards the halfway line. Germany continue to keep possession. Gundogan plays it through. Trippier sliding in, was able to prevent it from reaching Hoffman, and then Harry Maguire cleared away. No slips so far, with Stones and Maguire back together in central defence, the two of them starting for England in the same match for the first time since November. And here's Walker, who's got a bit of space in front of him, and Kyle Walker might take it on, which he does, and he's now halfway inside German territory, and he uses Saka, and Saka on the right wing. Saka took on Raum, but Raum just easily dispossessed him, and Raum plays it forward to Musiala, and Havertz is in an offside position, and Musiala therefore has not passed it to him, and I think England have got back in position. Still the Germans come forward though. Kai Havertz, the Chelsea man. Kimmich uses Raum on the left-hand side. Raum with the cross, but Maguire was there in between two German players in his own penalty area, and that is the last action of what felt like a very lengthy first half, because it was, Rob Green, 0-0.
It was, and it was really entertaining, and the game is played on such a knife edge that any minor errors, any minor movement wrong, and the opportunity for both teams, because they attack with such pace, is there. It is plenty of jeopardy within the game, but no goals.
Yeah, 0-0, as they just said over the public address system inside the Allianz Arena here. Germany 0, England 0. That means Kelly.
Sehr gut, John Murray. Ausgezeichnet. We will be back with John Murray and Rob Green for the second half in Munich with its score at Germany 0, England 0 at half-time. We're also joined by Leon Osman. Leon, an entertaining first half. It's hard to know whether Germany are getting the better of England because of ability or whether those England players, there's an element of tiredness about them.
Possibly, but I think, at times England's press has been okay. I think Germany's press has just been a lot better. I think England have been sloppy in possession at times, unnecessarily, and Germany have just been a lot more composed. They've been, prodding and probing and trying to find those gaps in the England defence, and they've took control of the game. But England is still in the game. England look reasonably well organised. They look like they do need to raise the game. But again, I go back to just making the right decisions at the crucial moments when you're in possession of the ball, rather than just letting that sloppiness creep in, which, as you say, does come with tiredness, and it does come with mental fatigue as well. But the Germans certainly haven't shown that.
No, Lola says Premier League just takes its toll on England's players. They're tired and physically spent after a long season, although it's been a long season as well in the Bundesliga as well. But Ben says we need to utilise Kane's passing ability and creativity. He tries it, but there's never anyone there in the box. And I mean, you were talking about that, about making those final decisions. Is that at the heart of it, getting the best out of Harry Kane?
Well, I think he's our main goal scorer. He's the top quality striker that can put the ball into the back of the goal. You just saw I think it was in the first 10 minutes of the game, he had half a space to be able to get a shot away, and really did trouble Neuer in the German goal with his shot from about the corner of the penalty area. So he's our goal scorer, but he's not blessed with pace. He doesn't play on the shoulder and run away from defenders. So what he does need is strikers or his strike partners being able to do that. We haven't seen enough of Saka, but when we have, he's looked quite lively. Raheem Sterling has tended to come short rather than make those runs in behind. When he has made those runs in behind, a couple of times Kane's found him, and we found ourselves in the German penalty area. So it's about getting the balance right. Kane's going to want to drop deep, so somebody else, or two or three other players, have got to make sure you stretch the game. If you're all coming short, you're all coming to the ball, it does make it an awful lot easier for the German press.
Leon Osman is with us for half-time, and we'll be back at the Allianz Arena for the second half of Germany against England with the score at 0-0. Elsewhere in England's Nations League group, it's Italy 2, Hungary 0. England's under-21s also in action this evening. They're taking on Albania in their Euros qualifier. That is currently 1-0 to England at half-time. Coming up, we're going to get the latest from the Wales camp ahead of their Nations League match against Netherlands tomorrow. But now it's time for the news on 5 Live with Stuart Clarkson.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you, Kelly. Good evening. The RMT Transport Union says 3 days of strike action later this month will lead to a complete shutdown of the UK's train network. Tens of thousands of staff from Network Rail and 13 train operating companies will walk out on the 21st, 23rd and 25th of June in their dispute over pay and redundancies. Our correspondent John Donnison says rail bosses have concerns about the cost of increasing workers' pay.
Network Rail is saying that this is public money. They're saying, look, these strikes are 2 weeks away. They're going to keep on talking to the union. But we've got a statement from Andrew Haynes, Network Rail's chief executive, saying, we know that the cost of living has increased and we want to give our people a pay rise. But the RMT must recognise we're a public body and any pay increase has to be affordable for taxpayers. It does look, though, if this strike goes ahead, it's going to be pretty difficult getting around the UK for, well, best part of a week.
BBC's been told that a plan by ministers to name and shame petrol stations that failed to pass on the cut in fuel duty is still in the works. It comes after the RAC warned it now costs £98 to fill the average family car with unleaded. Senior ministers have backed Boris Johnson's call for the government to focus exclusively on what matters to people after the Prime Minister saw off an attempt to oust him as Conservative leader. Some of the Tory MPs who voted against him last night have said they'll be getting behind the government. Others, though, have predicted Mr Johnson will be out of Downing Street in a matter of months. Anthony Selden, who's written biographies of several Prime Ministers, says Boris Johnson's got a knack of getting out of trouble.
History will predict he'll be toast within a few months, but his own particular personality, his fighting spirit and his Houdini character will suggest that something else might happen.
Monkeypox is being made a notifiable disease in England. It means doctors will be required to alert their local council or health protection team if they suspect a patient has the infection. And police in Munich say 3 England fans have been arrested on suspicion of making Nazi salutes ahead of tonight's match. Another fan was also arrested for allegedly causing damage by letting off a flare in a hotel room.
On BBC One and iPlayer.
Up the tops, Christopher. See what she can do.
The Top Gear boys are back.
Feels good. How cool is that? How many times did you hit a wall?
It's a few walls.
What do you reckon, boys? You two are like a couple of children that have had a go in a fancy dress shop.
Well, we just want to get round in one piece.
This looks terrifying.
Oh, my!
All new Top Gear.
Push me down. Let's go for it.
You sure?
Not really.
Sunday at 8 on BBC One and iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sport with Kelly Cates.
And our commentary match this evening is Germany against England from Munich. That one 0-0 in the Nations League at half-time. We've got second half commentary of that coming up. Former England internationals Rob Green and Leon Osman will be back with us shortly. John Murray will be bringing us the commentary. But away from football, live Vitality Blast cricket on Sports Extra right now. Gloucestershire are chasing Glamorgan's total of 158 off their 20 overs. So how are they getting on? Kevin Howells.
They're just ahead of where they should be, I think, but they've just lost a wicket of Gloucestershire. So Phillips and Bracey, the not-out pair, now 71 for 2 after 8 overs, chasing 159 after Glamorgan failed to finish off a good 20 overs for them, despite David Lloyd's 68 off just 43 deliveries, 2 wickets apiece for David Payne, Glenn Phillips and Benny Howell. So it could be a close game still. Earlier, Ben McDermott's 83 off just 30 deliveries, 9 sixes for Hampshire in a victory over Middlesex by 9 wickets at Radlett. There were 48 balls remaining. Another Aussie, Chris Lean, destructive this season for Northants, but a first ball duck tonight versus Derbyshire. The Steelbacks need only 152. They're 56 for 2 after 7 overs. Lancashire require 136 to win at Leicester, but it's raining. 48 for 1 after 5 overs. Essex need 131 to beat Kent in the game at Chelmsford. Commentary over on Sports Extra and the BBC Sports website and app.
Thanks, Kevin, and we'll have regular updates from Kevin Howells as well. Now, less than 3 weeks to the start of Wimbledon, and there's an injury scare for British number 1 Emma Raducanu. The US Open champion was forced to retire in her opening match at the Nottingham Open with a side problem, and afterwards she spoke of her chances at playing at SW19.
I've got no idea, it could have just seized up and spasmed and then it's really bad for a few days, but I've got no idea, I can't diagnose myself, so I'll get it checked out. I was feeling really good, to be honest, to go out and play and open up my grass season at home, and the welcome I got straight away was really nice and I felt really comfortable, to be honest. And first game, absolute freak, I think I pulled something and I'm not really sure what exactly happened. I kind of just came off court, but absolute freak injury, I think, and I don't know what I could have done more about it. So I've literally walked off court having gone out the way that I did. I'm not exactly thinking about next week straight away. I'm sort of just trying to keep that positive mindset that I've been having, and I prepared really well for this tournament. I was feeling good and comfortable, and I think that even when I was out there were some signs that I was pretty happy with, playing more aggressively and stuff. So yeah, it's just a shame.
Emma Raducanu racing to be fit for Wimbledon, and will be able to listen to coverage of that across the BBC networks. Now, 15-time major champion Tiger Woods has ruled himself out of playing at the US Open. He says his body needs more time to get stronger for major championships. That news comes on the same day that former world number 1 Dustin Johnson announced his decision to quit the PGA Tour in order to play in the controversial Saudi-backed Live Golf Invitational Series. You can read plenty more on those stories on the golf pages of the BBC Sport website and app. Wales will be looking to continue their winning ways following their World Cup qualification when they take on the Netherlands in the Nations League tomorrow in Cardiff. Manager Rob Page says he's not going to let the highs of Sunday get in the way of what is an important game.
Obviously that night we went upstairs and celebrate with our families, and I give the lads that night to get out the system and enjoy it. Absolutely, they work hard, and when they're on camp, it's really intense. We'll be in the meeting rooms now until we break for evening meal, and then back in probably until about 11 o'clock tonight. So, for the players, for the staff, there's high demands on them when they're on camp, and the camp's a long one this time. So we're away together for a month, so they need a little bit of downtime as well. And one thing we pride ourselves in, we've got the balance right. And rightly so, they've got to enjoy moments like that. They've got to embrace it. That's why we stayed on the pitch, to celebrate it with our supporters, because, you know, you've got to enjoy those moments. But then, you know, the work head's back on again. We spoke about it yesterday, touched on it last night. I've had a meeting with the players this morning. They've gone out and had a good training session, and it's work as usual again now. We're up against a very, very good Dutch team. I think the tides are changing. I've seen a change in it over the last couple of years now. And I said, you know, we had a great team put out against Ukraine, but we also had disappointed players on the bench that, you know, had an argument to play as well, because they're playing competitive football at club level, at a good level. So we've got strength in depth now. We've earned the right to be in the World Cup. We absolutely have. So it's not, we don't live in hope anymore. All of us now as a group, we believe that we can compete with the best. We can go toe to toe with them and give a good account of ourselves, and we've proved that.
Rob Page in confident mood ahead of Wales against the Netherlands. That's our base tomorrow. Commentary from 7:45. And of course, we'll bring you updates of Scotland's match against Armenia as well. Leon Osman is with us. Wales going to be in England's group in the World Cup. Rob Page sounding confident. And that's going to be a game to look forward to, Leon.
Yeah, absolutely. And he has every right to be sounding confident. It's an incredible achievement getting Wales to the first World Cup since 1958. It's fantastic for the country. I think it's fantastic for the UK as well. And now, as you said, not only have we got both at the World Cup, but competing against each other in the same group. So it's mouth-watering. It'll be exciting. Wales will go in as underdogs. England will be expected to win the game, but Wales won't feel like that. The belief that they have, that Rob Page says that is within the squad, they'll go into that game feeling they can get a result.
I mean, I was going to bring up the fact that Wales beat England, of course, in the Euros when they were in France in 2016. But it's a very different sort of Wales squad from that time. The thing is, it's a stronger looking Wales. And as Rob Page said, there's more depth to that squad.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, as you've just said, Wales winning in 2016, they've already got the belief. England are expected with the group. It's, you know, the USA, Wales, Iran is expected to actually get through the group comfortably, but that won't be necessarily the case. They're competitive games. Every game in the World Cup will be difficult in its own way. But, you know, we look forward to this game the most. It's one that is guaranteed. It's one that will have the entire UK, I would have thought, tuning in to see how it goes, and both teams will be confident in it.
Yeah, just the 6 months to look forward to it, nearly. Wales taking on England in the World Cup. They will be in the same group for that one. England's under-21s in action this evening. They're taking on Albania in their Euros qualifier. Lee Blakeman is across this for us.
They're looking good, Kelly. 4 minutes gone in the second half. England 1, Albania 0. Dominating possession. Lee Carsley's team creating plenty of chances. They're coming forwards again now. Down the left here with Everton's Anthony Gordon into the area. Brought down right on the edge. Ball goes for a goal kick. The one goal that England have got was given to them by Folarin Balogun right on half-time, following a terrible error at the back by Albania. Presented Balogun with a tap-in from just 6 yards out, and that is what separates the two teams. England will need one more point to guarantee qualification for next summer's Euros if things stay as they are. England leading Albania by 1-0.
Lee, thank you very much. Lee Blakeman will keep us across everything that's happening in that game between England's under-21s and Albania. Leon Osman is with us as we look ahead to the second half of Germany against England. No goals as yet, probably the better of the opportunities falling to Germany, but England have had their chances. I know you want more from their forward players. How do they get that out of them in the second half, Leon?
Well, it's not easy. You know, we've spoke of the difficulty of the Premier League season and the tiredness, but I think they've just got to find the energy, keep pressing the Germans as they have done. I think that they've created one or two half chances through winning the ball back high up, but I want to see more composure in possession. I want to see them, especially Bellingham and Declan Rice, who I thought's been very good, getting on the ball in the German half and probing away and giving the ball to Saka and to Mount and to Sterling, and, you know, having the rotation. But ultimately, we've got to get the ball into the penalty area where Harry Kane is at his most dangerous.
Leon, thanks for now. Leon Osman back with us at the final whistle in Munich, where it's Germany 0, England 0, and the second half is just about to get underway in the company of Rob Green and John Murray.
Thank you, Kelly. Yes, welcome back to Bavaria. where it looks as though there are going to be no further substitutions at the start of the second half. So Germany, as they started, with Neuer in goal, a back four of Klostermann, Rüdiger, Schlotterbeck and Raum, Kimmich and Gundogan, the two in the centre of midfield. Then Hoffmann on the right, Müller in the middle, Musiala towards the left, and Havertz as the central striker. And England, having made that change in the first half, that enforced change in the first 15 minutes, bringing on Bellingham for the injured Phillips. England with Pickford in goal, Walker, Stones, Maguire and Trippier, Rice and Bellingham, Saka on the right, Mount in the middle, Sterling on the left, and Harry Kane through the centre. Really, in terms of clear goal-scoring opportunities, Rob Green, relatively few, really. A couple of shots from Saka towards the end of the first half. Harry Kane with a chance that was straight at Neuer, and not really many at the other end either for Germany.
No, Musiala was the one, I think, at the end of the half, and it just showed that Germany were getting on top in that second half. Their ability, as Leon was saying at half-time, their ability to keep the ball that bit better, allowed them to press, allowed them to be a bit more composed, and over the course of what was in the end nearly 55 minutes of football, they just about edged it.
So off we go. Germany playing from right to left in the second half as we look here from just to the right of the England dugout. Gareth Southgate down there, an offside flag against Germany, and England with a free kick near the edge of their own penalty area that Kai Havertz just tosses back to Declan Rice to take it. So Harry Maguire sets off on one of those runs forward. Trippier, who's come out for the second half, as has Sterling, despite the fact that in the last 10 minutes of the first half it looked as though there's no way that Sterling would be out here for the second half, but he is, and he's got the ball out there on the left-hand side, and he's going to just give it back to Kieran Trippier to take this throw. Sterling walks in field and then turns. Harry Kane is out there as well, but it's Mason Mount who is the target. Back to Trippier. Kane begins to come in field from the left-hand side, just holds off the challenge that comes in on him, and then Kyle Walker sends the ball goalwards, but that was blocked at source by Musiala, and England have it again on the halfway line. Trippier to Sterling, who is challenged. The ball bounces away off Trippier, who's left on the ground, and Germany have got it back inside their own half. So it is 0-0, 2 minutes played in the second half, and Germany bringing it out from the back. Still lots and lots of movement in the stadium down in front of us as people retake their seats. That's always the case here, Rob. If you sit right next to the gangway here, it can actually go on for almost 10 minutes in the second half. Here is Gundogan, who was put under pressure, but he's able to keep possession and play the ball out towards Klostermann, who's carried it halfway inside England territory, and then Bellingham is able to get the ball away, and Raheem Sterling with a clumsy-ish challenge on Klostermann, who goes down and stays down, and we have the first injury of the second half, because I don't think he's going to get up immediately. Kimmich, actually it is. He climbs to his feet. There's a little exchange, a little low five between Sterling and Kimmich, and Germany have it again. Italy are winning 2-0 still. They were winning 2-0 at half-time against Hungary in the other match in this group. And Germany go all the way back to Neuer on the edge of his own penalty area. Rüdiger turns it back to the great German goalkeeper, who chips it here to the left-hand side, where Klostermann will use Ilkay Gundogan, and Gundogan uses Schlotterbeck again, and Schlotterbeck now sees Saka coming, so Kimmich, and then Musiala, and Musiala's able to work it on to Havertz, but it took a little flick actually. It hit John Stones and didn't drop for Havertz. The crowd wanted a free kick for the subsequent challenge on Havertz, but the referee, Carlos Del Cerro Grande, was having none of that, and England have been able to clear it out for a throw near the halfway line, Rob. Yeah, it was really well played from Germany, keeping the ball, picking the moment, picking the opportunity, and not for the first time, getting the space, getting the opportunity there with Havertz on the ball, and it just slows down that fraction when he gets it, and everything else seems so dynamic and just seems to be half a yard off it. Germany come again from out on the right-hand side. Hoffmann carrying it in field, gives it square. He has Raum. He has caught the eye, David Raum, when he's come forward, and England having to be satisfied out of possession in the early stages of this second half. Germany dominating the ball. Raum is able to work it forward to Musiala, who is challenged by Saka, and it's out of play for a throw into Germany down the left-hand side. I think this will be slightly concerning for Gareth Southgate, the way that Germany have started this second half. Musiala again, who has been a threat, the teenager, the Bayern Munich teenager, the former England under-21 international, very familiar with St George's Park and everything that goes on there with England after representing so many of the England youth teams. Here is Kimmich, plays it through into the box. Hoffman on the turn! That's an excellent finish! Right-footed, it flashed past Pickford, high into the net, and Germany take the lead with 5 minutes played in the second half. Germany 1, England 0, Jonas Hoffman.
Well, it's fantastic keep ball from Germany, but England have backed off. They've backed off just like they did on Saturday at the start of the second half. Not really come out firing, not really come out with any intent, and they've been punished very early on in this second half. And Germany waited, picked their passes, and unchallenged got through to an opportunity to have a shot. And it looks like John Pickford thinks it's going to his far post, thinks it's going to his right-hand side, and it's not. It's gone up high to his left. He stuck out a hand, got something on it. It's not enough. And it's a well-worked goal from Germany, but relatively unchallenged.
Did it take a little deflection?
That's
I wonder.
why he's gone early. A little toe,
yeah,
a little touch on the toe.
I think it did. Was it John Stones? I think he was sliding in, and that's why he was going to his right.
Yep. Couldn't quite tell from our angle, but it has got that slight deflections. You're right, John, and it's despairing from Pickford more than anything that your body weight's going the wrong way, everything's going the wrong way, and you're just desperately hoping you can get enough on it.
So there we are, the opening goal comes 5 minutes into the second period, and Germany are 1-0 up, and England are facing the prospect of no points from their first 2 matches in this Nations League group. And with a start like that, we've never really talked about it too much in terms of international football over the years. For England, it'll be a case of perhaps trying to avoid relegation from this Nations League group, as Bellingham plays it back into his own half. England have got to find a bigger threat, a greater threat somehow. He has Sterling on the left-hand side. He's certainly one of the players England will look to. I think Mason Mount as well, who I think has put in an improved performance on what we saw on Saturday, but I think needs to be involved more in the game, Mason Mount.
Yep, and I think what would suit him, I think Saka and Sterling just switch him for some time.
Well, here he is now, Mount, and Trippier joins in the attack on the left-hand side, gives it back to Mount near the left corner of the box. Mount has German players either side of him, and he can't find a way past them, and Gundogan will now bring it forward. Germany 1-0 up. England going behind, but England coming forward with Mount, who shoots right-footed, and Neuer diving to his right is able to parry it away. That was more like it, 22 yards. And Neuer had a good sight of it to his right.
Yeah, just give it a go. And he turned down the chance in the first half, but there, he gave it a go, and it's better. Brilliant from Bellingham, twice winning the ball back. Did it a number of times in the first half, and that's when England are dangerous, when they can win the ball back early. But what I was going to say, just in that first, just realise that when you said about Mason Mount drifting out to this left-hand side, you've got Trippier on the left back, who's right-footed. Sterling, left wing, who's right-footed. Mount drifting out there, also right-footed. Everything comes inside. Need to switch that up sometime.
Hungary have got a goal back. It is Italy 2, Hungary 1. It's an own goal, a Mancini own goal. So Italy 2, Hungary 1 in Cesena. Here is Musiala for Germany through the middle. The crowd were interested there briefly, but Declan Rice was an excellent piece of work on Musiala and was able to dispossess him just when it seemed that Musiala might be away from him. Maguire. England now having to come from behind again. They weren't able to do that on Saturday night, but it's a different feel, completely different atmosphere inside the ground here tonight. However, this German side, unbeaten in 10 matches under Hansi Flick's management, unbeaten since that game at Wembley last season that brought Joachim Löw's 15 years in charge to an end. His 198th match it was, a record for a German coach. But England coming forward, that's nice. Mount left side of the area, and then Schlotterbeck was able to move across and go to ground, but block the run of Mount, but deflected behind for a corner for England. But good play around the edge of the box.
Yeah, really good one-touch football. Sterling, Mount and Kane combining, and it came to Mount. It's just his first touch then was a real letdown. Allowed Schlotterbeck to get back across.
So it is a corner from the left-hand side for England. The Germans 1-0 up. And here is the delivery curling into the near post. It comes off the head of Klosterman, took it right across the box. Maguire was challenging for it. But Germany come forward. Here is Thomas Müller. Müller still carrying the ball and then playing it down the left-hand side for Havertz. Bellingham slides in and gets there comfortably, actually. Just that extra burst of pace from the teenager. Germany take a quick throw. They're looking for a second goal. Müller into the box, but this time it just ran away. Musiala couldn't get it under control, and England clear through stones, where it bounces out over the halfway line for a throw to Germany, who lead 1-0, Rob Green.
Yeah, and just that reaction, that initial reaction when the ball's out of play, when Germany have got the ball, to take that step forward from England isn't there in the second half there. Müller just ran onto the throw and got given 10-15 yards of space to run into. That wasn't happening in the first half. That's why they got the time to pick the passes for the first goal.
1-0 Germany lead. It's interesting when we were talking to Christian Falk from the German media, who was saying before the game, you know, Germany feel it's important for them to have results like the one that they are currently on course for against teams like England, which is exactly the same sort of thing that England are saying about matches against teams like Germany.
Absolutely, and I think they're all too aware of it, the way that the Euros went for them, and then they struggled to get out the group in such a dramatic fashion, wasn't it? I mean, they were bottom of the group for long periods of that last game, and then they've beaten what you would say the lesser teams in the tournament to get qualified for the World Cup.
Hansi Flick making 7 changes for this match. Germany have got the ball inside their own half, but many of the big players are out there. But this is probably not far away from England's first choice team that Gareth Southgate is playing here tonight, and they're 1-0 down. And now Schlotterbeck hits it downfield, but that will bounce away beyond Müller and out for a throw. So the question is, are England going to think about making a change? Jared Bowen has just gone and sat down. Jack Grealish is warming up. I mean, he did bring a little bit of energy, didn't he, Grealish, when he came on at the weekend. Conor Gallagher's down there as well. He's not been on the field yet during these Nations League matches.
No, and none of them warming up with any real intensity, so I think that's your answer for the next 5 minutes.
So Gareth Southgate content to see what this team can do that's out there to get back into the game. Here's Saka, had 2 attempts early on, late on in the first half. Mount through the middle, Kane's out here on the right-hand side, but the ball's on the left with Sterling, and Sterling up against Klosterman. He's got the option of Trippier, who's there, but the ball is tackled out of play by Klosterman. Throw into England. Trippier to take this. Newcastle United man, as he is now, takes it infield to the Arsenal man, who was, well, he had his heels clipped by Müller, who I think is a little unfortunate there. He's just running across the back of Saka as he was taking it away, but it's a free kick.
No, he's won that one, as they say in modern parlance. I'm not sure that Muller's really given it away.
Well, this is a good position for England here, and Harry Kane is standing. There are 4 England players gathered around this. Kieran Trippier's out there as well. Sterling's not far away. Harry Kane has a look over his shoulder. The referee is getting the wall back. It's quite an acute angle out there towards the left corner of the box.
Yeah, these are tricky for goalkeepers, because you want to put a big wall in and your tallest players in to block that, because when you stand in the goal, it's a big area and you know the blame is against you if it goes in there. You say, oh, I shouldn't be beaten from that angle. So you put your tallest players in, and then all of a sudden you've got the likes of Maguire and Stones at the far post up against Raum, who's a good 6 inches smaller than him.
Yeah, and Rice is there as well. Well, 4 players gathered around the ball, so this is something England have worked on. Harry Kane's actually standing in front of it. Trippier takes her, and then it's tapped. Kane turns and hits the shot. It's deflected up in the air on the edge of the box. Germany haven't cleared yet, but they have now. That sort of fly kick away from Rudiger, which entertained the crowd. There were a few whoops after that, and it's out for a throw into England on the halfway line. Germany leading by 1-0. That early goal from Jonas Hoffmann, slightly deflected past Jordan Pickford. Going back to the under-21 game, England-Albania match. Lee Blakeman.
2 for England, 2 for Folarin Balogun. This second one a header at the back post, and the way this game's been going, that really should now be game, set and match. England's under-21s leading Albania 2-0.
England coming forward here in the Allianz Arena. Rice to the left-hand side. Oh, Sterling's got far too much on that. He's hit it, he's ballooned it really high across the penalty area and beyond anyone in England blue. And Manuel Neuer is going to take a goal kick.
A couple of disappointing moments that. The free kick was really poor. The touch to Kane, such a difficult skill to get the ball out from under your feet to strike it. Didn't really understand the free kick in itself. I'm not sure they fully understood what they were doing, but
no, it looked overcomplicated, didn't it, for 4 players around the ball. Eventually it was Saka who tapped it short. Trippier ran over it. Saka tapped it to Kane, who hit it on the turn straight into the players on the edge of the box.
It would have been wonderful if it came off.
Yeah, it would. It would have been a thing of beauty.
A long way off that.
Sent out of the Science Museum. Germany 1, England 0. Here is Havertz on the halfway line. Hansi Flick has yet to make a change. Gareth Southgate's just made the 1 substitution so far. It's England-Italy next. That's the behind closed doors match on Saturday night. Commentary on that on 5 Live, although there will be school children admitted in, as you'll be well aware, is allowed under UEFA regulations. Here is Rudiger forward towards the right-hand side. Goal scorer Hoffmann. Little ball to his right. Now it's back centrally with Kimmich. Hoffmann is still available on the right-hand side. The ball finds him. Then it's played by Muller, but that breaks down, and Mount has not been able to roll it into the path of Sterling, and Germany have got it back.
That first ball is critical. When you win the ball back, it's so key. When you don't get it right, it's dispiriting for the team. She's just defended well. You've held your shape. International football, having the ball is a rarity at times, and then you go and lose it.
Well, Gundogan's lost it. He's been dispossessed by Bellingham, and now Sterling. Oh, miss-hits the shot across goal. It just bobbled across, and there were options there, but that's a poor clearance from the back, and Walker's in the box, and then Walker can't find Bellingham. He passed it straight into the path of Kimmich. But Bellingham did his best to win it, again for England. However, it's Germany who have the ball and go back to the edge of their own penalty area. England not able to take advantage there. There were a couple of sniffs that they had, but it's Rudiger downfield. Germany are going to make the next changes, and it's a double change. Werner and Gnabry coming on, so there's certainly a goal threat from those 2.
Attacking options there, and a couple of attacking moments for England where really should have done better, because it went from international football to Sunday football in an instant, and Germany presenting chances and England not playing in the final ball, not taking the right choice, and you're not going to get too many chances given to you like that in a stadium here against opposition like this.
I think that change that we'll have to see who's coming off, but that suggests to me that Hansi Flick thinks that England are vulnerable here, and that he's able to twist the knife and get the second goal that would almost certainly, I think, win the match and get the points in this Nations League group for Germany. However, they're not on the field yet. Germany are knocking it around at the back, and Neuer puts his foot on the ball. He's got Kane, Mount, drags it back, then he clears it into the centre circle to Havertz, and then Havertz to Muller. And Muller, with Hoffmann to his right, uses Havertz infield, and Havertz, with his white shirt flapping over his black shorts, takes the ball to the edge of the penalty area. Muller to Gundogan, and then to the left-hand side. Germany just keep it, and they go back to just keeping possession. Frustrating England. To the right-hand side to Klostermann, and then Klostermann down the right-hand side. Hoffmann tried to give it back to him, but England do have the ball back now. Germany leading by 1-0. This is BBC Radio 5 live from Munich, with England having to come from behind. Otherwise, it's going to be 2 defeats out of 2 in this Nations League group. Right, here come the German changes after the ball was put out of play for a Germany throw on the halfway line. And it is Musiala who is making way. The young man, the former England under-21 international. This has been a big night for the teenager. And he's given a standing ovation, actually. I mean, he is a Bayern Munich player in Bayern Munich Stadium. But nevertheless, he's certainly done well tonight in the time that he's been on the field. And it's the goal scorer, the other player who's coming off, Jonas Hoffmann of Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Now, two players who've really caught the eye. The man with the goal, and then the star performer of the evening in many respects for Germany. Just looked so sharp and so alive, and when he got the ball in little spaces and little areas, whether he was up against the player or in a pocket of space, he knew when to turn, when to run. It was a really intelligent performance from a young man.
So Timo Werner of Chelsea on the field, and Serge Gnabry of Bayern Munich, former Arsenal man, is on the field. And here he is on the right-hand side. He's let his hair grow long. Gnabry on the right-hand side. We can easily pick him out. And he's been able to pick out Gundogan inside the penalty area, and that needed an important interception for England, which it was, to put it behind. That was well read by England, by Kyle Walker, actually, wasn't it, against his clubmate, Corner.
Yep, and they're getting stretched, England. Gnabry all of a sudden coming on, going wide, and Trippier having to get all the way out to the touchline. The back four gets stretched, the pockets come open, and someone so intelligent is going to run into those spaces.
25 minutes to go. Germany winning 1-0. And a corner from the right flank for the Germans, which is played to the near post. There's a flick which takes it right across the penalty area and out towards the left-hand side, where freshly into the game, Timo Werner gives it to Müller, and Müller's ball goes a long way, and it's arrived at the feet of Gundogan, who has carried it into the back of the referee, who actually turned his back on the play, and Gundogan clattered into the referee, who kept his feet. And this is an interesting one, because with the ball having hit the referee, this will have to be a drop ball, an uncontested drop ball. And the referee's actually left the ball and come across to... now, I wonder if he was having problems with some of his technical equipment, and maybe he was a little distracted there, which is why he allowed himself to get caught up in the middle of that, because he's come and received something from the side of the pitch.
Yeah, I think he's just swapped his whistle because he dropped it as he's read Gundogan's touch and put in a wonderful bit of defending for England.
Well, this is really odd now, because he's dropped the ball and England have kicked it downfield, and the referee is saying, come on, we've got to have it back and do it again. And he's dropped the ball, and Kimmich plays it over the top, and Stones had to be alert there, but he was cleared by Bellingham. And Germany have got it with Müller on the left-hand side, and Müller's cross is blocked, but it falls to Havertz. This is a very strange period of play here, and I think England have got to be alert. Kimmich, Germany winning 1-0. Müller, Havertz again. There is lots of attacking threat on there for Germany now that Müller's still on the field. Werner through the middle. Havertz is sort of floating around, Rob.
Yeah.
Gnabry on the right-hand side.
Werner's taken Havertz's place as the main striker, and now Havertz is one of the floating three in behind.
As the ball is played downfield for the German number 9, as he is in this game, Timo Werner. Gundogan now takes it on from the centre circle. Kimmich to the left. Here's Raum, lovely ball into the box. Havertz is after this, but Pickford's able to slide out to his right, out of the 6-yard box, and grab the ball safely for England.
England are clinging on in the game now. They really are getting pushed back, and feels like the pitch is sloping. The game's... We're in one half of the pitch, and the game is seemingly going on a long way away from us. When England have got the ball, it's very rarely getting into the German half.
Needs to change, doesn't it,
yes,
for England? Trent Alexander-Arnold is just arriving back, having been sent out to warm up. So unless somebody's getting ready underneath the top of the England dugout... Actually, it was that Jack Grealish just standing up there. I think I might have seen him take his red bib off, so it looks as though it is Grealish. And I think this is the classic match that calls for someone like Grealish, as they say, someone who's able to get the ball downfield.
someone to scare the opposition as well, someone to do something and have the confidence to do it.
Pickford receives it from Stones, and then Pickford's pass doesn't find Saka, goes out of play behind Saka, who was closer to the halfway line. Yeah, it is Grealish, that's confirmed. He now appears from out from underneath the roof of the dugout, and Gareth Southgate comes across with some instructions for him. 1-0 Germany lead, but England here just feels they're in danger of conceding a second. Gnabry into the box on the right-hand side. Muller is there. Muller, left-footed, curls it across the box. Walker is able to get up and head it away, but it comes back to Germany, and the white shirts continue to press forward. Raum has space. Raum's pass to the back post is steered goalwards, and Pickford makes an excellent save. That was terrific. That looked a certain second goal for the Germans. With the man coming in from the right-hand side, it was Thomas Muller who was arriving, and he sent it goalwards, and Pickford with a sprawling save at the back post.
Brilliant, brilliant save, massive moment in the game, and so well picked out by Raum at the far post, and Pickford had to make up the ground across the goal, and if you ask Muller to meet it any better, he'd take that, he'd take how he met it. Pickford had to stand up. Big, strong hand at the near post, but getting across and getting set was the key.
Yeah, if he'd not been able to keep that out, I think that was England finished in this match. Corner is taken, though, and headed across from the left-hand side, but England were there in the 6-yard box. It was headed away, and then I think Schlotterbeck, who got the initial header at the back post, is claiming that he was shoved over by Declan Rice, who has come across rather innocently looking, and the referee has just had a word. So it's only... Grealish is still waiting to come onto the field. It is just a throw for the Germans from the left-hand side. But England are rocking here. Germany are sensing the possibility of a second goal that would win them the point. Still Italy 2, Italy 2, Hungary 1 in the other match in the group. We've got commentary on Wales-Netherlands tomorrow night. That's in the Nations League as well, live from Cardiff. But Germany are in possession once again. Ball through to Gundogan, and now a turn from Kimmich, and Kimmich with the pass that is behind Werner, and Bellingham is going to have to take it away there. It wouldn't run out of play, and Werner was all over the back of him, but Bellingham is able to win the throw down near the corner flag, and I think England will make this change now, and it is Mason Mount who is being replaced by Jack Grealish. And while that happens, it's back to the England under-21 match, because Lee Blakeman...
Because it really is all over now. England have a third. Good strike at the near post for Cameron Archer, who'd just come on as a sub. And then Albania have just had Armando Dobra sent off for a late tackle on the edge of the area. We've got just over 10 to play. England cruising, leading Albania 3-0.
England struggling here. 1-0 down, but they can barely get out of their own half. But Grealish is on now, taking the place of Mount. Harry Kane takes it on into German territory, uses Declan Rice to the left-hand side. Rice now up to the edge of the box. Grealish involved in the action for the first time. Back to Rice. Poor touch from Rice in the box. Ran away from him. But Walker's won it back well for England. 25 yards from the German goal. But Saka can't take it on after that interception. And Germany give it away again. So Rob Green, Grealish onto the field and Mount off.
Yep, and it looks like Raheem Sterling's gone central. More of a 2 playing up front. All of a sudden Harry Kane dropping in as the number 10 or the false 9, and Sterling staying up, so they'll switch around between the two. But England just sensing a little bit of life now.
Here they come again, and here is Grealish on the left, and Grealish couldn't find the low ball across to Harry Kane, who was in the 6-yard box. But the right back, Klosterman, was able to step across and deflect it behind. England corner, though.
That's a big block, because Harry Kane was free. He waited and waited for 75 minutes for a chance. That was it.
Harry Kane on 49 goals for England. Did have one effort in the first half, but it was straight at Neuer. This latest corner for England. In towards the back post. Maguire got his head to it. It's hanging towards the back post, but it was a looping effort. Did well to get to it almost, Harry Maguire, and Neuer just watched it as he made his way across the goal towards the back post and just clawed it away. England come again, helped by the arrival of Grealish, but then they lose it on the edge of the box. Saka was dispossessed, and Germany on the counter-attack, and Havertz plays it through to Werner, and Werner with the shot that is blocked by a sliding Pickford, who comes out, narrowing the angle and makes the block.
England stretched, game opened up, all of a sudden on the counter-attack, and Kai Havertz rolling the ball to Timo Werner, and he's just gesturing to put more pace on it. He was flying, Timo Werner, just waiting for it. Didn't have the pace to beat Pickford. Another good save, though.
Yeah, Pickford, who finished the season in such great goal-saving form. Team saving. Relegation avoiding, some might say. Germany 1, England 0. I thought the double save that he made in the match, it's one of our commentary matches against Chelsea, was something else. Another German change. It's Thomas Muller, who, as you probably suspected, is not going to see the match out. And it is Leon Goretzka who is coming on, so that's Bayern Munich for Bayern Munich. Yeah, they know his name here, Thomas Muller, and they know his name as well. So Goretzka is on into the midfield. He'll bring a bit of the required energy that Hansi Flick will be looking for to see this match out for victory in the midfield engine room, as they call it. Here is Sterling playing it to Grealish. Grealish across. Kane's there. On Neuer makes the save. Kane on the stretch with his right foot, and Manuel Neuer makes a terrific save. Moving from right to left, had to change direction and managed to block it across goal. That was almost Courtois-like from the Champions League final. England with a corner, they take it quickly, and up with the header, John Stones, but wide and high and behind, and Manuel Neuer is congratulated by his teammates, Rob Green.
What a brilliant save. That was a joy to watch as a former goalkeeper. Harry Kane on the stretch, caught it so well. Neuer dropping down, just having to make himself big, and then as he's moving across the goal, adjusting to make the save, and he wouldn't have known whether he got enough on the ball to get it round the post, and he's glancing round his shoulder like the rest of us, waiting to see if it's going to drift in at the far post, and it just drifted wide, and it's a massive save in the game, because England have just come into it in the last 5 minutes since Grealish has come on, and that was a big chance.
Jared Bourne's coming on for his second cap. Saved it with his body, Rob.
Yeah.
I think it was his hip, wasn't it? Hip or upper?
Just something.
Torso.
Just to get an adjustment, a swivel of the hips, just some sort of movement to get some momentum into the ball, to change the direction of it. It's brilliant.
Swivel of the hips, like Elvis. Elvis is going to be all the rage, isn't he, later this month when the new film comes out? We'll all be swivelling our hips as Sterling has the ball on the halfway line, and Sterling sets off on a run now down the left. Grealish not too far away, but it's cleared away by Klostermann, and Germany come forward. So Pickford and Neuer have both made important saves. It was just being in the right place, wasn't it? But it was the way it was deflected by Neuer. Across the face of goal and beyond the far post.
It was poetic, wasn't it? It was slow motion, it was dramatic, it was everything. It was also really good.
Yeah, here's Gundogan now. Gundogan, surely the run of Gnabry there, and surprisingly Gundogan wasn't able to pick out the pass. Still Germany with it though. Kimmich now towards the edge of the box, to the right hand side. Back it comes to Kimmich. Germany still with that 1 goal advantage, just over 10 minutes to go. They know a second goal would probably kill it off, but England have shown a little bit of something since Grealish came on. That was sorely needed, really. Felt like they were going nowhere. Grealish replacing Mount, and Jared Bourne waiting to come onto the field, and Germany with the ball on the halfway line. Bit of a swivel of the hips from Rudiger there. Then the ball is played through for Gnabry on the right-hand side. He's going to do well to get to it, but he did. And he was able to cross it for Werner. But England, I think it was Maguire who came across, who was able to get there first. Ball up to Sterling. That looked as though it was a foul by Sterling, which it was. And it's a free kick to Germany. And here comes the change. And England replacing Saka, Bukayo Saka, he's had moments, Rob, in the game, Saka.
Well, he made such an impression on Saturday because it was so dour. He came on and shone in a poor game, and this, he just watching Kyle Walker behind him, and he kept losing his shape and he kept losing his discipline, and Kyle Walker was getting more and more frustrated with him, and I think that sort of played on his mind a bit during the game as it went on. And so you stand there looking and you're thinking, am I doing the right thing, am I doing the wrong thing? And you get so few chances on the ball in a game like this, then you end up just drifting out of it.
10 minutes to go. Germany 1, England 0. BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds. Here's Havertz for Germany through the middle. Gives it to Gundogan. Gundogan with a back heel flick, but Walker is going to get there first. And he plays it to Jared Bowen, who's now onto the field. And Bowen now racing the ball away downfield. He's under pressure, and Kimmich puts in the challenge, and he wins the throw in. But that's Jared Bowen. That's what you get from him.
Just go on and do your thing, get the ball, travel. That's what they need right now, England. The game's going to get stretched. It's going to go end to end. They need people who can get up and down and really motor.
Ball goes back to the halfway line. So you've got two players now on each side who can do that, carrying the ball downfield. And here is Grealish doing exactly that. He's carried it into the penalty area and he's crossed it into Klosterman, who again puts the block in. There's more sort of tennis doubles high fives going on between the German defenders, but it's an England corner from the right-hand side. It's actually very watchable now again, this game, in the latter stages. Whether we'll see another goal, whether it'll be a second German goal, or whether it'll be an England equaliser. England take the corner to the edge of the box. Sterling is there. Sterling on his right foot, but gets right underneath it, off balance, and hits it wildly wide and high into the netting behind the goal. And it is a goal kick to Germany. Looked as though it was going to open up from Rob.
Yeah, their first opportunity to shoot was the opportunity. It's clever from Trippier because he's getting objects thrown at him at the corner, and
it's from the mural, the montage from before the game. Pieces of card.
The piece of card, and he was just clearing them, and whilst he feigned to step away and clear them, he played the quick corner, and it was clever, but it gave the chance.
So it is a goal kick. 8 minutes plus added time to go. Harry Maguire having to stretch here to play the ball back to Pickford, which he does. So England now, as I say, with Grealish on the left-hand side, Sterling and Kane in the middle, Bowen on the right. Kane must have thought he was in for that 50th goal for England, but the great Manuel Neuer, winning his 111th cap, was able to keep it out.
He caught it well as well, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He did. That'll have pleased him. Remember how Harry Kane scored the second goal, that little sort of sliding header past Neuer at Wembley last June. And it won't make up for that, of course, but you know, 5 months away from the World Cup, and okay, you know, if they play each other at some stage in Qatar, you know, teams I'm sure would be very different. Actually, maybe England wouldn't be dramatically different. We'll see. Here's Kane near the edge of the box, flicks it forward towards Bellingham, bounces down, but Round should clear that, which he does, but he slices it out of play over the head of Gareth Southgate. See another former Premier League player coming on now for Germany, Leroy Sané, another Bayern Munich man is coming on. And it is Gundogan? Yeah, Gundogan who leaves the field. He shakes hands with his Manchester City teammate John Stones, and it's current Manchester City for former Manchester City, with Leroy Sané coming onto the field. 26 years old now, 14 goals, 16 assists for Bayern Munich this season as they won the title yet again, 10th consecutive season. As balls put out of play, it's a throw into England, but a spectator's thrown it back down onto the field. So Kyle Walker, who was given another ball, has to wait. Harry Kane comes over, puts that ball out of play. Walker takes the throw, back towards Bellingham, time running out for England here. England looking at the possibility of not scoring for a second consecutive match, which is a real rarity. Grealish on the left-hand side. Second consecutive defeat as well. That's not happened to England since 2018. Here's Bellingham to the edge of the area. Kane now to the right-hand side to Bowen. Bowen in the box. Bowen gets it across to the back post, and it is deflected wide of the back post somehow. Well, that seemed a certain goal for Sterling, but I think Klosterman was diving in with him, and Klosterman got a leg to it to put it wide.
Well, that's a better save from Neuer's. That is the moment of the game. If they win the game, that is the moment for Germany.
Great work from Bowen, though. Here's the latest England corner. Rudiger gets up commandingly to head that away for Germany. Germany still leading 1-0. Latter stages now, just over 5 minutes to play. England, though, are forcing the issue. The ball runs to Kane, and Kane stumbles over in the box under pressure from Schlotterbeck, and the Spanish referee is not interested. And Germany play it downfield while England were protesting, and Sané to the edge of the box. But the covering challenge was there from Kyle Walker. Of course he got there, Kyle Walker. And England are saying, hang on a minute, what about that challenge on Harry Kane in the box? Harry Maguire is suggesting that the referee go to VAR. Harry Kane is doing likewise. Raheem Sterling is coming across as well. The players are following the referee. German fan in front of us is waving his flag. I think he's trying to hide the action from us. And he's being sent across to the screen. The referee has been told by VAR to come and have a look at this. So it looks as though England will have a penalty.
Well, it was a through ball, but it came off a German player trying to play it, and then Schlotterbeck almost falls over as Harry Kane's going through onto the ball.
And, well, it's going to be a penalty.
It's going to be a penalty, yeah. It's unfortunate for Germany because of the deflection, but we had this in the Champions League final. There's a clear attempt to try and play the ball, and then he catches the heels of Harry Kane.
Penalty review.
Yeah, he does. He catches his heels.
It's unfortunate in two aspects, but it is a penalty.
Yeah. Schlotterbeck, just his third cap this tonight, and the referee's had a good look. And here he comes. Yeah, there's the signal, and he points to the penalty spot. And Harry Kane, yellow card being shown to Schlotterbeck as well for that challenge, that clumsy challenge. Well, England were a little unfortunate with the penalty that was given against them in Budapest on Saturday night. And Harry Kane has won the penalty, and of course it is Harry Kane who is going to place the ball on the spot. Now, he's already been denied tonight by Manuel Neuer, and he's not looking at him. And of course this is an opportunity, just like Wayne Rooney when he had the chance to go past Bobby Charlton to his 50th goal. That was from the penalty spot at Wembley. Harry Kane now has the chance, just like Rooney, from the penalty spot to score his 50th goal for England. He has scored more penalties than anyone else for England, Harry Kane. 14 of his 49 goals for England have been from the penalty spot. And now Neuer is waiting there. A great stage for this big moment in the career of Harry Kane, who walks back to his left and stands feet apart, one in front of the other, and Kane comes up now and scores! It's the equaliser for England and for Harry Kane. It is his 50th goal for his country. Only the second man to reach that mark, and what a stage to do it in. Here in Munich, in the Allianz Arena, against Germany. Kane with a goal, Germany won, England won.
Well, the big players arrive at the big moments, and this was huge for Harry Kane. It was big for England. It was fortunate how it came about. Two slices of luck in the giving of the penalty, but it was a cool, confident penalty. Neuer looked massive in the goal. 3 steps and then hammers it home into the corner. We've seen him do it so many times for Tottenham, so many times for England. Batters it into the corner. That's big for England. You get the feeling after Saturday's defeat, now they've got to see this game through, because they've improved, particularly since Jack Grealish came on. They have improved. I don't know whether you'd say they deserve it.
Well, certainly there was a spell, Rob, where they were rocking.
Yes.
And it felt like a second goal for Germany was coming. But that change, I mean, I think it could have come earlier, I have to say. But it came nevertheless. But we've still got plenty of time to play as the ball is sent forward for Germany, but will bounce through to Pickford, who's able to collect that quite comfortably. Italy have beaten Hungary by 2-1, so that will so Germany, that is Italy, that's 4 points in the group for them. 1-1 here after Harry Kane equalising in the 88th minute with that penalty. As I say, his 15th penalty, so extending that record. And there he is, only the second man to reach that milestone, the half-century of goals for England, after, of course, the man who leads the list, Wayne Rooney. And of his 50 goals, that one tucked away from the penalty spot with his right foot. That is 9 with his head, 36 with his right foot, and 5 with his left foot.
He's not taken any penalties with his left.
He's not, no. I think I can say that with some certainty. Although he has missed, I think it's 4 penalties he's missed for England. Here's Rice inside his own box. The England under-21s have won 3-0. And so are nearing qualification for the next European under-21 championship. Bowen to Kane. England are thinking about maybe winning this. And Kane finds Grealish on the far side of the penalty area, and then Kane near the penalty spot completely misses it. It was a crowded penalty area. He was having to quickly adjust, but Grealish found him, and Kane couldn't do anything with it.
Jack Grealish has been brilliant since he's come on. He's just held out wide, given an option, just give me the ball, and I will find someone in the penalty area. And he did there. He found Harry Kane, and he just skipped up in front of him, and it was a clean air shot. But saying England, you have to give them credit that they've stayed in the game. Whilst they were getting battered left, right and centre, as you're saying, they stayed in the game, they clung on in there for their moment. Jordan Pickford save, yeah. I just felt that Neuer save and then Klosterman at the far post was their chances gone. They've had a stroke of luck with the penalty area and they're finishing the stronger.
Germany 1, England 1, 4 minutes of added time, and we're into that now on this clear night here in Munich. This futuristic stadium to the north of Munich city centre, with somewhere between 50 and 60,000 people inside the stadium. We know there have been a handful more arrests, or at least that's the last we heard this evening, but it's all been, certainly from our view here, all calm and friendly enough inside the stadium. Let's hope that continues in the city centre later. Throw in for Germany, deep inside their own half. And Raum takes this and gets it back. Round to the halfway line, it bounces off Stones, Werner back to Havertz, the 2 of the Chelsea men, and then back it goes into central defence to Schlotterbeck. It's an England man. Bellingham is down with a problem, and I think looks like
it's cramp, I think.
Is it cramp? Right, so England are effectively playing with 10 men, and Germany are thinking about perhaps winning this in added time. Werner to Raum, and Raum's cross is blocked by Walker, and then Werner does well, and Werner takes it on, and it's blocked at the near post by Stones, who's able to get it down and clear it away, and still Bellingham is down, and Rudiger has got the ball. He doesn't have to put it out of play, Antonio Rudiger, and he's not putting it out of play, and Jack Grealish has nudged him over, and Rudiger didn't enjoy that, and Rudiger is going to face up Grealish and just shoves him away. Play continues down the left. Here's Leroy Sané. Leroy Sané on the edge of the penalty area uses Gnabry, and Gnabry's ball across is headed away for England by Maguire and out towards the left-hand side. Suddenly England are under pressure again. 3 minutes, we're into the 3rd minute of added time, and Raum gets it all wrong, and his pass rolls over the dead ball line and behind for a goal kick to England. Rob Green.
Well, both teams have been clinging on here and there. England down to 10 men. Bellingham was about 1.5 yards from the side of the pitch and couldn't get off the pitch for treatment because of the cramp. Desperate to get off.
I think we're into the 12th round of this football season, aren't we?
Both sets of players look shattered. I mean, Bellingham was a sub coming on. He's shattered. So it's been a really entertaining game. England have been stretched. They've done well just to stay in the game. They've had their moments, but I think they'll take the draw after all of this.
Yeah, Germany won, England won. Pickford taking as long as he can to take this goal kick. More facts about Harry Kane's 50 goals. 48 inside the box, 2 outside. Long one downfield. Rudiger heads it forward. The ball drops for Harry Maguire, who's going to head the ball back to Pickford. And even though Sané is trying to get there, he won't get there, and Pickford does get there first. And I make it that we've got 15 seconds left to play. Pickford underarms it out to Stones. And then Sterling, who's almost in front of the two central defenders, Raheem Sterling, back to Pickford, long one downfield, and that is it. Harry Kane's 50th goal for England has secured a 1-1 draw in this group match in the Nations League here in Munich. So England are off the mark in this competition, their first point from their opening 2 games. It could have been a lot worse for England. Yeah, but they've managed, by hook or by crook, to get something from it.
They clung on in there, they clung on in through the difficult parts, they stayed in the game, and really, since Raheem Sterling got injured halfway through the first half, they fell away from the game and didn't start at all brightly in the second half. They clung on by the skin of their teeth, or by their fingernails, and they had moments. Jack Grealish changed the game coming on, provided options, and the stroke of fortune for the goal, for the penalty. But we all know what Harry Kane can do, and he got that goal, and you can say that England could get better. You know, they can improve, so there's still work to do, but a massive improvement from Saturday.
Yeah, I think they did have that half yard back tonight, Rob, didn't they? That Gareth Southgate said they lacked on Saturday.
Huge tick for that. That was something that was, you know, so evident from the weekend, and something that was clearly back, because it needed to be, because the German side played really well and controlled the game for large portions.
Yeah, England have gone across to the end to our left, all of those supporters, 3,500 of them in that section up to the top left. Steve Holland has taken the England players over there to applaud them. Plenty of other England fans around the ground as well, who are now, as the German fans leave, they're becoming more obvious. Somebody's running onto the field now, and I'm not sure the stewards have actually seen him. The players all milling around in the centre circle. Hansi Flick is out there as well. He's still unbeaten as the Germany coach, 11 matches now since he took over from Joachim Löw. But the final score here in Munich, Germany 1, England 1.
John, Rob, for now, thank you very much. We'll have more from Rob Green and John Murray very shortly, and Leon Osman will join us too. First, though, England's under-21s have been in Euros qualifying action this evening, and Lee Blakeman was watching this for us.
Comfortable night in the end for the under-21s, Kelly, as we expected it to be, really. They've won this one 3-0 against Albania, following Balogun, who's been on loan at Middlesbrough this past season, got the first 2. A gift in the first half, a good header in the second, then substitute Cameron Archer wrapped it up with a decent strike at the near post. Great work from Everton's Anthony Gordon in the build-up to that one. What it all means is that England are 3 points clear at the top of Group G, and now need just 1 point from their remaining 2 games to qualify for next summer's European Under-21 Championships. Those final 2 games being away to Kosovo on Friday and at home to Slovenia in Huddersfield on Monday. Good night for Lee Carsley, though, here in Chesterfield tonight. Final score, England 3, Albania 0.
Lee, thank you very much. Joining me now, Leon Osman and our commentary team in Munich, Rob Green and John Murray. Rob, still no win for England, but they got a bit of luck in the 88th minute with that penalty decision. Do you have to take it, though?
Absolutely, and I think you would argue that also that Germany got a slight fraction of luck with their goal. I thought Pickford had gone early, but I did him a disservice, and it took that deflection that beat him. And the form he's been in and the save he made tonight, you could have saved that he would have backed it if it didn't. So it was a good comeback from England. They thought the chances had gone. One big save from Neuer and one clearance from Klosterman, but then, yeah, it's a stroke of luck for the penalty. The main man at the right time.
And then the 50th goal for Harry Kane, Leon. He's second now in the all-time goal-scoring list. You talked before the game about the mentality, about that winning mentality. And for England to be, and Gareth Southgate talked about England maybe being a little over-reliant on Harry Kane. The thing is, it's okay to be reliant on a player who always delivers.
Yeah, of course it is. And again, he stepped up in that crucial moment. He had a good game. He was the one who got brought down for the penalty kick. And he put it back in the net with real assurance. You know, I thought England started that second half really slowly, not what we'd spoken about at half-time, but once they were having to chase the game, and especially once Jack Grealish was introduced to the pitch, England really did look the team we all believe that they are, and you could see the belief within the team themselves. They believed that they were going to get the goal back. Jared Bowen came on and joined the pace of the game so quickly, and you just felt that from that moment England were going to get that goal. Yes, it was a penalty kick, but had a couple of chances where they could have got back in. But when you're talking about that mentality, when you're talking about believing that you will get something out of a game or even win a game, I thought England showed that to get back into it.
When you see the difference that Jack Grealish made when he came on, Rob, you have to think that he's going to feature strongly in England's plans for the World Cup.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think playing for England suits him compared to Manchester City. That freedom that Gareth Southgate doesn't overcoach in those final thirds. He knows that the transition period is crucial for this England team, and that space is crucial, and that ability for Jack Grealish, that licence to go, have the freedom to go and do what he does, as opposed to Manchester City, where he has a set role. When you have the ball, you stand there and you give it to that player, and it gets coached within an inch of its life. That it kind of stifles him in that regard. But look, here he just showed, and you know what, Germany saw that as well, that Klostermann was tracking back, those right back, then in front of him Kimmich was trying to get across as well, then that Gnabry was all of a sudden trying to get back, and they had 2-3 players just back to Grealish, and that opened everything else up. So it was a massive part of the game, because also Mason Mount again was quiet, and you know, he's a fantastic footballer, but that's been 2 games where it hasn't been his strongest performances for England.
I think that there'll be a clamour, Leon, for Grealish to start for England now, and I think it's an interesting one, because you know, he's probably not started as much as he would absolutely like to for Manchester City this season. And I remember when he signed at the start of this season, he said one of his targets was to be a regular starter, not only for Manchester City but for England. Now he's playing regularly. He and Harry Kane have played more matches for England than anyone else this season, but that's 6 substitute appearances and 4 starts, and I just know what the reaction is going to be.
Yeah, of course, but you know, I think with Jack Grealish, I think he needs a striker up to play the ball into and find, and when he's in those areas, somebody who's going to be that target man to pick out. And he was looking for Kane all the time. He was like that for Aston Villa when he had Ollie Watkins. He'd cut inside or either way, and there's always that threat of the through ball. When you're playing for Manchester City, which is the majority without a striker, with that false 9, when he comes into those positions, then passes aren't always there. So as Rob mentioned, that extra coaching that Pep gives you to find different types of passes doesn't necessarily bring the best out of him. I think it will next season with the introduction of Haaland, but for England, I think you see that from Jack Grealish, and he's such a threat, he's such a danger. The clamour will be to play him after that kind of performance, but it's great again for England as a squad, and it just shows the strength and depth that you can turn to players on the substitute bench, like Jude Bellingham when Phillips was injured early, like Jack Grealish, like Jarrod Bowen now to come on, and it shows England's strength.
We'll talk more about Jack Grealish, and you'll be able to hear that on the Football Daily podcast, which you'll be able to download later on this evening. We're also joined by Christian Falk from Sport Bild. Christian, it's a Nations League game, but it's Germany against England. So will Germany be disappointed with just a point from that match?
Yes, to be true, we are really disappointed because we wanted the victory so much. I think the team spent a lot of energy in this match, and you know, they didn't win for 1 year against a big nation, and this was the target today, but they didn't fulfill it. I think the match plan of Hansi Flick was good. The players showed everything he wanted. They were aggressive, but to be true, at the end I thought a little bit about Lineker, about the 22 players who were running off the ball, and at the end Harry Kane scores.
But as you say, there was lots of promise in there for Hansi Flick's team, and you told us before the game, you know, this isn't the finished article just yet. There's plenty of promise in that Germany side.
Yes, it is, because you saw, I told you, they're playing a new style of football. They're aggressive, they run, and the good thing is it doesn't matter which names are on the pitch. You saw Leroy Sané on the bench, Serge Gnabry on the bench, and the players who played were also very good, and this is now the big point of Hansi Flick. He makes the team better, he makes the team believe in themselves. You talked a lot about the English team which believes in them, and this is the point also at the German team, and so I think the draw at the end is okay for both sides.
Christian,
how do you think? Oh, sorry, on you go, Rob.
Yeah, Raum, the left back, Do you think he staked a claim tonight? I mean, he's only played 7 games for Germany. He seemed to really come into it and have a strong performance.
Yeah, that's right. He's a very, very interesting player. I think he did a very, very good match. And yeah, this is also, we're talking about Hansi Flick. He has an eye of such players. He's not one of the big team players, and but he brings him, and I think he has a big future. And he's not perfect in technique, he's not perfect in speed, but he has this aggressive style, and he is running against England like he played 50 games, and this we want to see now.
How do you think that Germany coped, Christian, when England were more aggressive in the last, 10 minutes or so of the game?
Yeah, this is now the point of the German team. You know, it's the third 1-1 against a big team, against the Netherlands, against Italy. So that's the last point they have to... Yeah, we talked about believing. Harry Kane, I think he didn't make his best match today, but at the end he was there. And at Germany, it was like Italy. Oh, it's close now. And then at the end they didn't make this point. The last goal, they had chances. I think also we were very, very happy that we have Manuel Neuer, because he was brilliant. I think Pickford, this goal, I think if it's Manuel Neuer, it's no goal. So at the end it was okay. But yeah, we need a striker now, like you have at Harry Kane. We don't have it. Havertz didn't make it so good. I think he was not one of the best players for Germany. So we're searching a striker. We don't have one at the moment. That's a pity, but perhaps we find him till November.
Kelly, a few weeks ago, Manuel Neuer signed a new contract, didn't he, with Bayern Munich, and for some reason they brought a goat along to be part of the ceremony, didn't they? And there was a little video that they put together, and I guess the reason was being the greatest of all time. And I mean, Rob, you're the perfect man to ask about this. You know, we talk about many of the new goalkeepers and the modern goalkeepers. He is still up there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's incredible. There's moments in the game where you stand there and you think, what are you doing? When the ball's at his feet and he's there taking touches, he's looking up, his arms and legs are going in different directions. He looks like he's just about to lose control. There was a moment in the second half and he had 4 England players around him thinking, just get rid of it. And then he picks out a 50-yard ball to Havertz as centre forward, and they're away. It's an incredible asset, Christian, for this German side, isn't it?
Yeah, we love to see him playing. I think I saw Oliver Kahn playing here for Germany. I saw Jens Lehmann playing here for Germany, but now he's like E.T. He's not from this world, and it's not a good sign for Germany that he always gets the best mark. He's an A. So we're happy to have him, but he's part of the team, so that's good.
Yeah, it was a great performance from Manuel Neuer. Christian, lovely to talk to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Christian Falk. And John Murray is going to leave us now as he heads down to listen to the press conferences in Munich.